Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Casual KO, the new hit show on YouTube over at Profit Picks channel, right? Breaking the YouTube algorithm over there.
Yeah,
Um,
for
we're
now.
growing. We're growing it, you know. Dude, I there was a guy, I'm gonna see if I can find him on Instagram real quick. He said that since he's been listening to Casual KO, he's gone 8-0 in his UFC picks.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
that's definitely a good advertisement for us, right? So
Get
clearly
up.
he's
Get it
listening.
while it's hot, boys.
What's that?
Get it while it's hot.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're doing pretty good. I'm coming off of the biggest profitable weekend for me this year. Um, Closed in at right around 750 or something off of 150 bucks. That was including a first place fucking DraftKings fantasy lineup out of about 1,000 people. So just absolutely fucking that feels so good to do. I encourage you guys to do that stuff. Like $3, $5, whatever you want, and just throw in a couple lineups, dude. It's fun. I'm gonna try and look up this guy when we're talking about the fights and stuff. But coming off a really boring, not super fun card. I actually thought that the Apex was good, but a lot of people are talking shit about it. What was that, Vegas 87 or whatever it was? It was great, man. There was some fun. I mean, knockout of the year, I think, right? Um, it was pretty damn good. So what are you guys' thoughts on the last card, Jared? What you think?
I mean, as far as name value, it wasn't a great card, but I mean, there were some solid fights, man. Crazy, crazy knockouts too. I mean, I will say that Bernardo getting knocked out by Vinicius there, that fucking hurt my soul because I ended up finding a bet on Bernardo and he was killing it, dude. He was like seconds away from that finish, but he just shit the bed at the end. But either way,
That
that was a
that
great fight though.
glad I didn't bet on that because watching that was just hard, like emotional roller coaster. And how about Almabayev? No, Almakhan almost knocking out Bumar
Hey,
Nurmagomedov. Everyone was sweating that.
that was rough, man. Yeah, and dude, I mean, it was like I said, it was a very interesting card. Even the Javid Basharat fight. We all picked Javid, but I had Ariel Helwani as like my, just I knew that fight was going to go the distance.
That
So, like,
hurt.
if you have to pick an underdog in fantasy, you want someone that's going to go the distance and have their shot. And man, he won that split decision, I think it was. And it's just like at that point, dude, I knew I was getting first, man. It felt fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. Like it felt really good. Now I found this dude, his name's Jim Feeney on Instagram, and he said, get this. I found out that you do the UFC show, I'm 8-0 in my picks. I'm on fire. I'm here for the summer, blah blah blah. So yeah, and then he gets into like his own personal shit. But yeah, man, I mean, we've helped this dude go 8-0. So congrats to that. More people can get in on that shit, and people should check it out on YouTube as well. What's that channel they can watch it on, Alex?
Profit picks. Let's make them go 10-0 this week, baby.
Let's go. Yeah, dude. So I actually wanted, we had a couple of really sad retirements. I was gonna make a nice picture of Jamie Pickett that said, thanks for the memories, champ. You know,
Another sweaty one though. I wish if I could have canceled my bet middle of that fight, I would have because
Eric Anders sucks.
getting dropped by Jamie Pickett is a bad look. I was just saying during that whole fight, I was like, "This is what I get for betting Eric Anders at minus 300. This is what I get."
Yeah, I told you guys. I told you, but at least you still
Oh,
cashed. And then also Tyson Pedro retired, which is weird. I don't know why. That's a really random retirement. He was coming off of a kind of a layoff too. After he had like 3 or 4 fights, I think, after a long layoff and then just quit. So maybe the dude doesn't really like fighting that much. I don't know, but it was definitely a card that I will remember for a little while just because of how fun that was. But we got a huge one this week, UFC 299. Some people are saying it's better than 300. I don't know about that, but it's definitely the best card of the year so far. What do you think about the theory that they're trying to stack any card that Sean O'Malley's on because he's not that big of a draw? I guess the last pay-per-view he was on only sold 150,000 against Aljo.
well, I think this one will sell so much better because Cheeto's a draw. He's a big draw. You know what it is? I think it hurt because he didn't have a draw. Well, how do I say this? Aljamain Sterling wasn't a draw. So he didn't bring in a big audience, and it was all Sean. all the casuals there to watch Sean. But I think a lot of people are going to be buying this card
Yeah.
rather than the last one.
Yeah, only dude that ever defeated O'Malley, whether he wants to admit it or not. And then, Cheeto's got some high profile friends, Action Bronson, things like that. So I mean, it's probably gonna get some promotion. I actually just bought some Dustin Poirier hot sauce. Should be getting an autographed diamond sticker with it as well. So pretty excited about that. I'm a sucker for autographs, guys.
I saw that same post. It was only like $30, right?
Yeah, 33 with shipping. It was like 40. So yeah, man, it was I acted on it. They got my ass with it. So let's roll into this, dude. So what we're gonna do, Alex is coming off another win. He beat Jared and I. Um, Jared beat me as well. So Alex got 8 picks correct. I got 6 correct. Technically 7 because I switched to Jarzinho. But 6 is what we're going with. Jared got 7 correct, but he is giving me the second place spot for this show because of my big week. You know what I mean? Been donating the last couple weeks, so it feels good to just make all that money back after like the last horrible couple cards. Let me pull up Tapology here. I don't know if you guys got any thoughts on the card before I actually pull it up, but it's gonna be fun, man. I always enjoy these Miami fights.
Nothing on the last card, but man, one championship. Can we just acknowledge that Jared Brooks fight? It is hands down the worst way I have
Talk
ever
about it.
lost a bet
That put
in
me in
my
the
life.
mush.
Dude,
Cost
I had
money.
3 beautiful parlays, and that was the only losing leg. And for anyone that didn't watch the fight, we took Jared Brooks. He picked this dude up, slammed him on his head, and knocked him out in less than a minute, and then gets disqualified for an illegal spike to the head of an opponent. I know that's a rule in Muay Thai, but to have that in MMA is a fucking joke. They're allowed to knee grounded opponents in the head, but apparently they can't slam them on their fucking head. So
Mm.
that was a big fucking heartbreaker for me.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I bet you were really excited when you saw the finish too, and then they.
Oh yeah, I was fired up, dude.
That sucks, man. Sorry. That those are gut punches, man. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
go into this. And Alex, you're up. I will go second, and Jared will bring up the tail. Let's one of us sweep the card this week. One of
Who's
us.
starting it off?
All right. So first fight of the night is a banger. Joanne Wood versus Marina Moroz. You wouldn't be able to tell by this picture, but Marina Moroz is gorgeous. Like absolutely beautiful. Have you seen?
Do you have an OnlyFans?
She
She
does,
does.
and it's
Cool.
good. I
That
have,
might
Oh
change.
my God, you don't tell me you have a subscription
dude. No,
to
I don't
her.
even have an
That might
account there.
change the pick.
Yeah, you're gonna do the fade. No, so
Yeah.
listen. So I got this dude, and you've actually met him, Alex. Nick in Australia. One of
Mm.
his buddies subscribes to all these. Rachel Ostovich, all these different girls, and he sends the pictures to Nick. Nick sends them to me, and Ostovich is up there with as far as talent goes in that sector of work, but Moroz is really, really good too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna pull something up while you're talking here. It's safe for YouTube, but Alex, you're starting up, man. What do you think? Older
I love
vet?
Joanne Wood. I'm a big fan.
Okay.
I'm such a big fan of Joanne Wood. I've done really good on her fights. I usually have a good read on her. I'm gonna pick Moroz here. Not super confident. Um, I hate betting on women who have OnlyFans. That's just a huge trend to fade. It's a huge fade. If you just bet against every woman who has an OnlyFans, you'll do pretty good in the UFC. That's all I gotta say. It's a great trend, but you know my red flag is here is that I think Joanne Wood's gonna be the one to retire here. Feels like a retirement fight. She's starting off the prelims when usually she's been on the main card in the previous battles. So, I'm gonna go with Moroz to retire Joanne Wood. She's definitely on, the last tier end of her career. So I'm gonna go Moroz decision. Not confident, but my heart definitely is gonna want Joanne to win. But you don't make money betting on your heart in this game. So I'm gonna stick with Moroz dominant decision.
Okay. Yeah. She actually talked about retiring. What's her name did? Wood, right? So I think this is in fact her last fight. And like I was saying, man, I mean, these don't even look like the same. They don't look like the same girl here. Look at this. Just look at this. I mean, it's impressive. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys don't agree, but something else, I think. Let's roll into so dude, honestly, man, I think
Mid.
what?
That's what we say when the girls average. We say mid.
Oh, dude, if she was sitting right there in front of you and said, Alex, I want you to fuck me, you would jump all in it. Don't act like you fucking wouldn't. Um, so listen,
Jared knows
Look at
that.
him acted like you have to think about it. You would be in there so fast.
yeah,
Like
dude.
swimwear.
Yeah, even her little accent and stuff. I mean, give me all of it. But yeah, I'm all on Moreau's here. I'm not. Yeah, I'm more confident than you are. I'm assuming that you said decision. I was I was looking at some pictures that were distracting there. So did you say decision?
Yes.
Okay. I actually have Moreau's by submission, and I think she gets it done early when they're dry. I think that Wood's not approaching this very seriously, and I don't think that it's gonna go much different from their last fight. I think we see a sub in round one. That's my thought. I'll keep it short and sweet. Jared, where are you at?
Yeah, man, this is the rematch that all of the UFC fans have been begging for.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean, the first fight, they're both a lot different than they were then. It was 9 years ago. I think Wood was actually in a better place then than she is now. She's
Okay.
getting up there, man. 38, talking about retirement. Usually, if you have OnlyFans, you're an auto fade. But then if you talk about retirement, I also want to fade. So I don't know if I see myself betting this fight. Um, I don't hate Wood, man. She has pretty high output on the feet. She's putting out a lot more punches than she's taken, and she's good in the clinch. That's where she does her best work. But she's had one consistent issue her whole career. It's been the BJJ, and as much as I do kind of think Moros can find a finish here, these rematches never seem to go the same way. So I'm gonna lean Moros by decision.
Okay. Yeah, man. And I actually had to fact check you there, and you're absolutely right. Wood throws out almost 7 strikes per minute and absorbs just under 5. So she is high volume and gets it done. Moreau's not the same numbers. I think she might actually have an inverted,
Yeah,
up down.
it's not by much, but I know she's taken more than she's putting out
Yeah.
usually.
But I mean, these girls don't. Neither one of these are big time finishers. Moreau's is better on the ground, and 38 years old for Wood. That is retirement age for women's MMA. We'll move on though. We spent way too much time on that when we got 14 fights to go through here. Going up next, CJ Vergara versus Asu Almabayev. And you said that you hadn't done any research on this, Alex, and I told you I don't think you need to do much. But what are your thoughts on this one to start?
I'm gonna go with Almabayev. It's just, being that he's a submission threat, I think CJ Vergara has good BJJ, and I think he'll be able to survive. You know, if I'm gonna bet a prop here, I guess I'm gonna go with the maybe the double method for Almabayev, just to shave it down. Go with like KO or decision, because I trust Vergara to just keep safe when it comes to the BJJ. So I'm gonna go with Almabayev because the Kazakhstanis are pretty hot lately too, and they've been doing right by their country. So I'm gonna go with Asu by decision.
Shavkat says that the reason that these Kazakhstanis are so strong is because of the horse meat that they eat. And he wasn't joking. Like they eat horse, which just sounds horrible. That's such a fucking muscular animal that I mean, it's got to be like eating a London broil that's not cooked all the way or something. It's gross. Um, yeah, I'll keep this short again, man. I think it's Asu, and I think he gets a KO in round 3. Even though he's more of a submission artist, I think that he's gonna have Vergara on the ground, and I think he's gonna get a finish here. So I'm going finish back to back finishes on the first 2 fights of the night. It is a flyweight fight, if I'm not mistaken. So not a lot of finishing upside there, but these flyweight unders have been hitting. So that would still technically probably be an over unless it happened early. But yeah, I think Asu gets it done by knockout here. Everyone's going submission. I'm just going the other way a little bit. Jared, where you at, dude?
Yeah, this one, Vergara, he's getting a lot of credit for his toughness. He's a guy, he's got that dog in him. But you look at his wins, they're over lower level competition. And the guy, every time he's taken that slight step up, he hasn't performed.
Right.
And, consistently, much like the last fight with Wood, this dude struggles on the ground. That's like really his weak point. And against a guy like Almabayev, this dude, I think he's a real deal, man. He's solid all around. He can strike, and he is super fucking pressure heavy. I mean, the wrestling pace he puts on guys, I don't think Vergara is gonna have much of a choice here, but to end up on his back, throw up some bullshit and hope for the best. Because I think this guy Almabayev is a real deal, and I'm gonna say he gets a submission round one.
Yeah, you're not lying, Jared. The dudes that CJ has beaten are Clayton Rodriguez, who's 1-2 in the UFC, Daniel Lacerda, who we know 0-12, 0-5 really, and then
So
Vinicius Salvador, who is 0-2. He's lost to Tatsuro Taira, fine loss, but also Ode Osborne, who I'm not too impressed with myself. So, um, yeah, man.
and to do the horrible MMA math, Almabayev did sub Osborne in his debut.
Okay. Hey, I mean, MMA math, I think it actually makes sense to bring it out every once in a while. Not all the time, but I'm sorry, I missed your method and round. What was that?
We're going sub round one.
Sub round one. Okay. I like it. Yeah, a lot of people on the sub, man. I feel like maybe I'm an idiot for going the other way. I just think that, you got to get a
It's
little
one of
give.
it's one of these ones, man. It just kind of feels like low hanging fruit. It
Yeah.
just like one of these ones where you don't need to overthink it. The obvious outcome is probably gonna be the outcome. Much like this next fight we're about to talk about.
Yeah, you're saying 1 + 1 = 2, and
Exactly.
maybe I'm saying it equals 3, which, I might be an idiot. Either that or I'm gonna look like a genius. Yeah, man, this is a really, really interesting matchup. You know that the UFC just wants to put the rocket ship on to Rebellis de Spain here. He's taking on Josh Parisian, who gives a fuck, to be honest. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. Josh Parisian actually put out a really funny hype video of how he's training for Rebellis, and he had who's that Greek stripper? Demopolis. Demopolis. She's a stripper. Come on, and she's Greek.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so he had Vanessa Demopoulos sitting on top of another girl's shoulders. So it's two people high, and he's boxing with them. You know what I mean? This dude's 6'7". He's got like a longer freaking wingspan than John Jones, only 4-0, less than like I think 6 minutes of total fight time, or 5 minutes even. A lot of sub 20-second knockouts so far. Every fight's ended by finish. What are you thinking about this one, man?
I'm going with Robellis. I'm going with the guy who's heavier, in better shape, and looks like a beast. I'm gonna go with Robellis. Clearly, they're trying to ease him into the heavyweight division. I am a little bit scared on this fight. I'm not gonna be dropping no balance on this fight because I think Parisian does have a very small chance to win this if he would, drag the fight out, maybe expose Rebellis's cardio and uses some wrestling. I think he could surprise a lot of people, but with that, I'm gonna keep it simple and I'm gonna go with round one KO for Rebellis, and I am going to predict this is the first finish of the card, and they're gonna throw in a ref to help out. They're gonna throw in Mark Smith.
Mark Smith, huh? Dude, I
There's gonna
already had that written down for both you guys. You can't probably see that, but I have KO round one for Jared as well. If I need to change it, I can change it, Jared. But where are you at with this fight?
You don't got to change anything. It's I'm taking the I'm taking the can crusher. Yeah, I mean the guys that he's smoking, I think his past three fights were a total of 13 seconds.
Mhm.
Um, and every guy, he's only 4-0 fighting in regionals. Who do you want him to fight?
Right.
He's an absolute can crusher, and he's getting the UFC level equivalent to a can here. It's Josh Parisian. This guy isn't good. I'd probably bet on a drunken audience member against Parisian if they were fighting. So
red flag on this fight
yeah,
though. He opened up at minus 500 and he's sitting at minus 300, 330 range. So heavy money coming in early on Parisian, and that's a red flag for me looking at the background of this fight. That's also another telltale sign for me to stay away. Like, what do these early bettors know? With Parisian, it's just something's fishy with this fight to me, in my opinion. That's why I'm not going to be putting him in a lot of parlays.
Yeah, you know what I think you do if you have a book like DraftKings or like MGM or some of these, Bet Online and things like that. I think you take the sub 1 minute knockout. You can do that on some of those books. You can't do it on my book FanDuel that I like to use. But I mean, that's gonna still be positive, like highly positive odds. Throw 5, $10 on it. And I think that's the safest, high risk, kind of I'd say low, medium risk to high reward there that you could get. But yeah, you're not trying to take a money line on this dude. I think a lot of people are spooked because of Gaziev last week. We were all on Gaziev and I switched later in the week. Just because, yeah, dude. I mean, you look at some of these guys and they're soft. This dude doesn't look soft though. He looks like he could go long if he needs to. Taekwondo practitioner, Olympic level. I think he got bronze medal, which is people are talking shit about that, which is laughable. So yeah, it's I think it's good. And I forget who said it. It might have been you, Jared. Parisian's gotten knocked out by Dontel Mays. He lost to Parker Porter as well. Jamal
Go.
Pogues, Martin Boudet. I mean, the guys he's losing to, he's 15-7. He's only been in the UFC for 6 fights. This will be his seventh. And he went 2-0 in the contender series, which lets you know that he's not that impressive, even when he's being set up to potentially get into the UFC, right? He won his first one, didn't get a contract. So yeah, I think he's real low level. Heavyweights in general are pretty bad, and they want good heavyweights. They were trying to do that with Shamil, didn't work. So we'll move on though to a fight that probably doesn't happen. I'm not the first person to say this. Felipe Lins versus Iwan Kutalaba. Lins has pulled out of more fights than he's actually fought, it seems like. What do you think about this, Alex? You can start us off, as always, this episode.
I'll go with Kuntalaba. I think he can mix it up a little bit more. I think on the feet he can hang. He's younger by 8 years. Odds are close. You know, I think he can wrestle, which he's shown recently. He's shown he's a wrestler and not just going out there trying to get a first minute finish. Um,
Combo, right?
yeah, I'm gonna go with Ion Kuntalaba. I'm gonna go with knockout round one. Not super confident in this fight. I might have a little sprinkle on Ion Kuntalaba and some round robins. But yeah, Felipe's been hot lately too, which scares me. And I know he's a big fan favorite with a lot of sports bettors out there. And he's looked good recently in his 3 fight win streak. I did fade him in his last fight against Max and Grishin, and I lost. But I'm gonna go back to the well here and go with Ion Kutalaba round one KO.
Okay. Yeah, I have that exact same thing, man. I don't have much to add other than I don't know. I can't take Felipe Lins too serious, even though he is good. Like he's very good. And Maxim Grishin, 2-3 in the UFC. The guys that he's winning are not great. OSP used to be great. He's not anymore though. After he lost to John Jones, it seems like everyone that fought John Jones and lost just took a massive downturn, right? I don't think that I'm breaking any news here or anything. And then also Marcin Prachnio, who a lot of people like talking shit about. So I don't know. He's also got an upside down record in the UFC at 4-5. So all these dudes that he's beating aren't the highest level caliber of opponent, but I mean, they got what they got to work with there at 205 and up. So, Jared, where you at, dude?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you guys. I don't really feel good about it because Kutalaba is, in my opinion, a round one or bust. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
we see how the guy fights. He comes out super aggressive and he wants that early knockout. If he doesn't get the early knockout, he's gonna slow down because he really is just he blows his load in the first round all the time. Um, Felipe Leans, since he's come down to 205, he's on a 3 fight winning streak. Finally, this guy's at the weight he belongs at. He has solid striking. He has great takedown defense, and he's known as a slow starter, and or at least I think he is. And you usually see him do good when he can, has an aggressive guy and he ends up taking over the fight the longer it goes on. If he can get out of the first round, I could see him having success. But the pick is going to be Kutalaba, round one KO. And then I'll be on my Alex shit ready to press that live bet button as soon as we get out of that first round.
Dude, I was literally about to write that down under you because I do like little side notes of things that you guys say too. And I was going to say that Jared's going to say live bet Lins after round one, after E1 probably looks really good after that round one. So that's a good look.
Do you guys know the odds on this fight too? Because I don't even know what the odds are.
Ion Kuntalaba -120.
Okay, it's right where it should be.
Yeah, I mean, he's known as being chinny, but he's gotten knocked out by some hard hitters, man. Like he's not. I don't think he's chinny necessarily. He's just getting cracked. The dudes that knocked him out, Kennedy. Well, yeah, Kennedy and Zedjiku. Johnny Walker beat him by sub, and then Ryan Spann beat him by submission. And are those all in round two or one? Because
I
usually,
would imagine they're all around one or two because this dude, that super aggressive pace of him chasing that finish in round one, that's what gets him in trouble. You know,
right.
as much as it's worked for him, that is like the main thing that works against him.
Well, dude, let me ask you like this, and again, MMA math, but how do you think Felipe Lins fares against Johnny Walker? You know what I mean? How do you think he
I
fares against Kennedy?
I think he would do fairly well against Kennedy, against Walker. I don't know. I mean, do you have to take Walker there? Another thing too, Felipe's like fucking 38. Like this dude, he's getting old too. He looks like he's fucking 30, but apparently this dude's closer to 40.
Walker will smoke both of them.
Yeah, dude, I'm a big Walker fan, man. And also Ryan Spann was another
We know
loss.
you're a big Walker fan. We know you're biased. You're betting with your heart.
And speaking of bias, I might be a little biased here because Kutalaba is my fucking guy. Alex was there that night. I woke up one morning and I said, I feel like there's gonna be a draw today. And I fucking chased the draw all night at like plus 5,000. I bet like five different fights. And it was Kutalaba versus Jacoby that went to a draw. We fucking hit it.
Fuck yeah. Nice. Yeah, I honestly think that there should be more draws in MMA. So many of these fights just look like draws, dude. Like, there's a lot more draws in boxing because it's hard to tell who won sometimes. And I think people like Javid Basharat wouldn't fight the way that they did if draws were so common. He was, falsely counting and assuming that the UFC wants to keep this dude undefeated, and the judges are going to fall in line with that idea that if he makes it close, he'll win. And I'm glad that they voted against his ass, man. That point fighting shit is so stupid to me.
I
Uh,
will say, even though I didn't bet him, I was pretty discouraged because you know how I have my fade list of undefeated UFC fighters.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was on my list, and
And you didn't bet him?
I missed it. I
Yeah.
fucking missed it. I didn't think it was the time, and I
I
was feeling the same way because Muhammad Makayev's on that list too, and the way
well,
Makayev was looking, I'm sitting here like, did I really just miss another one on my list?
yeah, I mean, he supposedly had staff, and he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would make excuses. He did show a picture of his elbow after the fight, from like a week ago, and he said the antibiotics just drained him. I think with that said, dude, the cannibal just fucking eats this dude if they fight in Brazil. You know what I mean? Pantoja just absolutely mauls this guy, I think.
Yep.
But I've never been a big fan or big believer in Makayev. I just got on the hype train. I've literally bet against him in every one of his fights. I bet on him in this one, and he was in my DraftKings lineup, and I was pissed the whole time. I was like, "This is the fucking time that you perform like this."
Bro, those takedowns he was shooting, just dropping to his ass and covering up. I was sitting here like, why? I wish this was one championship so he could just be getting his face kneed off right now. He was on my whale bet too, and I was still fucking just sick to my stomach watching him.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got Pantoja. They need some new blood up there at the top. It's been the same three dudes forever. So it's
Just stay fighting each other and flyweight.
yeah. Okay, so moving on here to the next fight, Alex, this is yours to take. These two, I mean, it's gonna be fucking confusing as shit. We'll just call them Pereira and Oleg or Lord Mihal.
Olenjacek.
Huh?
Olenjacek.
I
Where'd
know.
you get
I'm
the
not,
end?
that's way too many syllables. Um, and I'm not gonna go between Michelle and Mihal. So we'll go last names here. But Michelle Pereira versus Mihal Oleksiejczuk. Interesting fight, man. I think that I'm actually really excited to hear what you guys think about this because it's two strikers, but two very different styles of striking. And for the record, just to go back a little bit, we all three have Despain KO round one and Iwan Kutalaba KO round one. So two back-to-back knockouts in round one. that's going to be a dicey little thing right there. I think that we're kind of taking the low hanging fruit. So maybe, be careful with those bets to people that are listening or watching. Um, that'd be wild if we were all right on that and it hit, because I feel like that's kind of what everyone's going to be on for those two fights in particular. But yeah, let's move on here. Michelle Pereira, Michal Oleksiejczuk. What do you got, Alex?
I'm going with the first dog to win on the card, and that's a lot. It's a lot coming from me because I'm a big Michelle Pereira fan. I've rode that whole win streak you see right there. I rode it.
I
I
thought you were going
rode
to say
that
you wrote something
whole
else.
win streak. It's not often you see. I don't think I've ever bet against Michelle Pereira,
Okay.
but I'm going to on this card. I like Mikal. I think he's going to be the guy moving forward. I think that jab's going to be there all night. It's just I'm worried about going to a close decision because Michelle's the marketable one.
Oh, yeah.
Anything close, I think it's going to go to Pereira, which is why I see him, which is why I think he's the favorite in this spot. But just on the feet and just the reliability, I got to go with Oleksiejczuk. I got to. At dog money, I think this is going to be the first dog of the card. I'm going to go with decision. Not super confident. I'm not going to be dropping the balance on this fight, but I will have some money on Mikal.
Yeah, betting a split decision.
Split decision is my prediction. Split decision.
Yeah, betting that I think is a nice move too, because those are usually good odds. It's only like BetMGM. There's only a couple books that offer that. I don't even think DraftKings does. But dude, I'm right there with you, man. This is almost like a brawler versus a boxer, and I don't mean to say that Pereira is a brawler and he doesn't have any talent, because he's wild, dude. He does some really cool shit. And I'm on the same side as you, Alex. Like I did a little bit of thinking about this because my gut was to go with the dude that actually looks like a fighter. I don't believe for a fucking second this dude's 30, by the way. I think this dude's lying about his age. I think he's a little bit older than that because he doesn't look 30, man. Like he really doesn't. Um, and I've been really, really impressed with Michal and his performances, man. If this is a close striking match, Pereira's going to be the one that backs up more because Michal Oleksiejczuk is the one that is going to just march forward, jab, do technical shit while this guy's dancing all over the place. And I think the judges might think that that looks bad should it go there. But I think that Michal gets a late knockout. Oleksiejczuk, I should say, gets a late knockout, either round two or round three. But for the sake of this, I'm going two. I think he can actually finish this dude. Jared, where you at, dude?
So I know Michel Pereira is somebody that we know as a wild, unorthodox striker, which he is. But his last few fights, he's really seemed to tighten it up. He seems a lot more composed and he is being a lot more technical. Oleksiejczuk, he's a fucking sharp boxer, man. This dude, he got them hands. He's fast, he hits hard. The one hole I really poke in his game is the jiu-jitsu. I think he is just kind of a one-dimensional boxer. As weird as Pereira's style is and as low as he holds his hands, and he's open to take these big shots, but he's a hard guy to find, man. He's showing so many different looks. It's a hard guy to get a read on, and good luck trying to find a training partner that's going to replicate his style. Because this dude, it's always expect the unexpected with him. I've had fights where I bet on him and he dropped the dude, and I remember saying, "Don't do a fucking backflip, don't do it," and he
Yeah.
fucking does a backflip on the guy, But he's entertaining, he's unorthodox, and he's hard to find. Um, and knowing Oleksiejczuk's main weakness is his grappling, for my method, I'm gonna be a little out there. It's gonna be fucking juicy. I'm actually taking Michel Pereira by submission. I
Okay.
think he might gets in a situation where he clips
Hey,
Oleksiejczuk and then snatches a neck or something.
I'll
Expect the
pay.
unexpected with this guy.
What round?
I honestly, I feel like it's gonna happen early. When they're both fresh,
Wow.
dry, he catches them early, he clips them and just snatches up a neck. So I think Pereira by submission in round one. I'm betting Pereira on the money line, but I don't. I might throw a little something on the sub if it's juicy enough, man. I think the odds will probably be crazy on that.
Yeah, this is a close enough line fight that you don't have to get too crazy with it. But yeah, man, if you hit that, I'm gonna give you some props for sure. Sub round one for Pereira. And yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. Something that I want to point out too, which is wild, is that Oleksiejczuk has had more time to recover, But these 5 fights for the two guys, 5 fights over 1 year for Oleg Zacic, and 5 fights over 3 years for Pereira. And again, like you would think, like, oh shit, is Oleg Zacic going to be like tired? This was 4 months ago when he, Pereira knocked out Petrosky, very short fight. He took zero damage, but that was 4 months ago. And Olen Zacic has had an extra 2 months from his fight with Chidi to recover. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting, man. Very active. Now moving up here, I'm excited to hear what you guys think about this because I think I might have a hot take, maybe not. But Pedro Munoz versus Kyler Phillips, the Matrix. This dude somehow beat fucking Song Kanan. I have no idea how. I know he's good. He's a wild fighter.
Robbery.
You beat Song Yadong.
He beat Song Yadong, yeah.
You said
Rob-
Song Kanan.
Oh, I said Kanan, my bad. Same thing. I'm just kidding. But yeah, what do you got in this one, Alex?
Back and forth on this one.
Yeah, I do.
Back and forth. And I already know Jared's take, and I probably know your hot take, so I'm probably going to be the one against the grain here. I'm going to go with Kyler Phillips. Decision. He gets into the top 15. Anything close is going to go his way. They're not using Kyler Phillips to build up Pedro Munoz here. I do think he'll mix it up. I think half of this fight's going to be in the clinch. I mean, the over-under set at minus 300 for the over 2.5 rounds. So what does that tell you? I mean, it's not something I'm going to be betting a lot of money on. I might, throw a little punt in a round robin of Kyler Phillips by decision, which is going to be my official pick here. But boy, is it hard going against Pedro Munoz, who keeps it close against almost every single guy he fights.
Look at his fight against fucking the dude in the main event. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm
Marlon.
saying.
I argue he won that fight.
I believe so as well. So you're going Phillips decision.
I don't think he won that fight, but I just think I know they want Kyler Phillips in the top 15. They'll have a ton of good matchups for him there. I just don't see the gates being closed on him here. I think anything close, even if he loses the fight, they're gonna give it to him. Yeah, I guess Pedro does have the hometown advantage. Being fighting out of Coconut Creek, but
That doesn't matter. I don't think here.
cooking. But I like Kyler Phillips. I think he mixes it up. I think he just outpoints him, uses the jab, does a lot of clinch work, goes for takedowns. And, just to go with the trend, he's 9 years younger. So who did the UFC want to build up here? So
Sure.
I'm going with Phillips decision. Not super confident, but, definitely will have a little bit of money on it.
Yeah, I know I don't have to tell you, Alex, but for people that might get sucked into your silver tongue ways here, because you put that very well, they might be charmed by what you're saying. They wanted the same thing with Shamil Gaziev, right? And they put him up against Rosenstrike, and Rosenstrike, popped that balloon. So,
Yeah, Kyler Phillips has been around, man. He's fought good competition too.
I understand.
It's not like this is his second fight in the UFC and now he's fighting someone in the top 15. He's paid his dues. He deserves this chance. In my
Sure,
opinion.
no, he absolutely does, and he's very talented, and he's kind of wild, almost like a Pereira, Michel Pereira, right? But he, like, the reason I say that is because the UFC might want it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Obviously, and again, I'm not telling you that. I'm telling people that are hearing what you're saying and being like, oh yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense, but it doesn't always happen. I am on the Munoz side. I think that he's going to walk forward. I think his tight boxing, if you can keep a fight close with Cheeto like that, which I do feel like Cheeto's a little underrated. He fights everyone overrated. Overrated. He fights everybody very close. He fights to the level of his competition, and then he fucking knocks them out. So that's what's always interesting. He didn't finish Munoz. I don't think that Kyler Phillips can even get close to finishing him. Now, watch, I say that, and it happens round one. Who knows? It's a fight. But yeah, man, I have written down here, I have Munoz decision. I think it goes the distance. I think that does Kyler have good cardio? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kid's solid, man. It's good
He
every.
starts strong. He's not going to start off like Marlon Vera. He's going to start off strong. Like, I don't think he's going to be playing comeback. I think Pedro's going to be the one playing comeback here.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. I just, for some reason, I feel like Munoz is going to get it done. Everyone thought that fucking Cheeto was going to fuck this dude up, and he didn't. So yeah, I'm on
Oh,
Munoz.
he did. He fucked him up. He
Fuck no.
jabbed his way to a easy decision, unanimous.
Was he even cut up? I don't even think he was cut up.
He dropped him.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I have a feeling about Munoz here.
Add 2 more rounds to that fight, and I guarantee you he probably would have got Pedro out of there.
Well, sure, but if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle too. You know what I mean? Like that. The scenario was what it was. You know what I mean? If I was jacked and in shape, I could beat up a bunch of these dudes too, but I'm not. So, it's like saying if
If I
this
had wheels, I'd be a wagon.
exactly. So, no, I get what you're saying though, Alex. Jared, are you on my side or on Alex's side with this, man? We clearly we think this goes long. Probably a decision. What are you thinking, Jared?
Here's what I will say. I don't know what the odds are, but my best bet for this fight is fight goes the distance. I bet the odds on that are going to be dog shit.
Minus 260.
It's a parlay piece, man. Because Kyler Phillips, he's younger, he's fast, he's dynamic, training partner of O'Malley. He actually kind of has some similarities on the feet, high volume. He's a dude that stays on his bike. He doesn't take many backward steps. And although he has fought decent competition, not as strong, nowhere near the strength of Munoz's schedule, but he's never been finished. So you got to respect the durability. On the other side, Munoz has fought the way better competition, and he's never been finished. He's this durable dude, and he's a vet. He's just fought the better competition. He doesn't shy away from a firefight. He'll fight you any kind of way. This dude, you know what you're getting with him. He brings it every time. In this fight, he needs to be the aggressor. He needs to put Phillips on the back foot and just try to make this thing as ugly as possible because I feel like he can put Phillips in some uncomfortable positions. He just needs to press on the gas, put him on the back foot. I have maybe a little nostalgia vet bias, but I lean Munoz here, man. Every now and again, you run into a brick wall, and I think this is going to be that for Phillips. So I'm going to take Munoz by decision, and I'm going to take Munoz in a parlay on the money line, and I'm definitely going to be parlaying fight goes the distance.
Fuck yeah, it gives me a lot more confidence, man, because usually your parlays do pretty well. I was kind of like, how Alex was saying, like not confident about it, but apparently you're seeing something more than I am in Munoz. So yeah, I mean I'm on Munoz, and I don't know, man. What's interesting too is that we're talking about Kyler Phillips, out of the MMA lab training with O'Malley. O'Malley fought Munoz and doesn't have a win over him. He doesn't have a loss, but I mean, he didn't beat him. Poked him in the fucking eye. Kind of a dirty move. It seemed kind of obvious too. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Munoz is underrated. But we're moving up to the next fight. Mateusz Gamrot versus RDA. Rafael Dos Anjos. I love this dude. I kind of like both these guys. I really like RDA a lot, but I don't know. What do you think about this?
Know where the value is, though. We know where the value is. RDA plus 350. That's pure value. Like that just screams, please bet me.
Yeah.
3-round fight. He's probably got more of a chance in this 3-round fight than if it was a 5-round fight, because we know Gamrot does pretty good in 5-round fights. Kind of has that Marlon Vera style where he starts a little bit slow. But oh my lord, it's number 11 versus number 5? This is back-to-back gatekeeper fights. This is where the gate gets closed. I think Gamrot, takes him down, weasels his way to a decision in a boring fight. Boy, is the value on RDA, but the pick in the bet has to be Gamrot here. I am not happy about it. You will not see me putting a lot of money on it. And another thing is that he's coming back down to 155. How's he going to feel at 39? Oh, this fight has me scratching my head on why they would even match this up. I feel like it was a filler fight. They really needed something extra on the card. But I just don't know why they would make this fight. Number 11 versus number 5. Like, what happens if RDA wins this? And then he's number 5 ranked after losing almost everyone in the top 10? I dislike this fight so much, but I'll go with Gamrot by decision. It's minus 145. Garbage odds, but that's my pick. Can he get a finish here or a submission? Yeah, he can. I'm just not super confident on any way this fight goes. And am I going to hate on anyone who takes a shot at RDA at plus 350 in a 3-round fight? They're pretty much setting him up for a win here. It could go close. Any close decision, you're going to want to be on the RDA side. I hate everything about this fight. It should be a good one to watch, though, as long as it stays standing and Gamrot doesn't get
Yeah.
those takedowns. But I see Gamrot getting them takedowns. A bet that I would take, and this is something on DraftKings, is the same game parlay. I would take Mateusz Gamrot more takedowns. That's the safest bet on this whole fight card, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to go for it. Who'd you compare him to? You compared him to some fighter. Marlon Vera. He starts slow like that, right?
Starts a bit slow. He hasn't always, but against a guy like RDA, I think he's going to start slow.
Yeah, and I would actually say too, he's kind of like the lightweights lightweight division's version of Marab. I mean, this dude is just relentless with his takedowns. He just spams takedowns. I think his striking's a little bit better than Marab's, but I'm on the exact same side as you. Same method, Gamrot by decision. I think that Gamrot is the strongest uh pick for fantasy because fantasy is very heavy on control time. So even if you have this fight go the distance and he loses, he's probably going to have more control time. And I think I mean, he's in most of my lineups. I've only got like 6 so far, but he's in all of them that I have. I'm going to have one with RDA just for the sake of having it. But yeah, man, I think Gamrot just dominates in the wrestling. You know, RDA got I mean, he got out grappled by fucking Luque, and I know that was up a weight class and he was smaller than Luque, considerably smaller, but Luque's not known for his wrestling, you know, so kind of an interesting look there. And Gamrot is known for his wrestling. I think he's a talented fighter, and the reason that I think they made this fight is because so many people were pissed off about the Fiziev fight. A lot of people were on Fiziev. I was on Fiziev, and it was a fluky finish, right? Because it was a technical knockout, but this dude, you know,
On Gamrot.
well, hey, I mean, fucking lucky right there for
Plus
sure.
too high.
Yeah, man. I mean, but I don't, I think that's why they did it. I think that they're just like, hey, man, win this, and then we'll start moving you up a little bit. Um, he's been backup fights. He's been the backup fighter for championship fights. I think the most recent one. But then when it actually happened, they just called in Volkanovski. I think that was just like a fake thing. He was the backup for Islam versus Oliveira. Oliveira gets hurt. They call Volk. Volk steps up, and now his career is forever fucked because he stepped up like that on short notice. So, Jared, what do you think, man? Both of us are on Gamma by decision so far.
Yeah, dude, I'm such a fan of RDA. Like I said, I got vet biases, I got nostalgia. I'd love to see RDA win it. And all week I've been trying to find an RDA bet. And it's just the more I watch the tape, the more I can't get there, man. He's getting old, and his age really showed in his last fight. And it always seems like when you see RDA struggling, he's struggling against a high level grappler. That's exactly what he has in front of him, a high level grappler, a dude that's just gonna fucking rinse and repeat, be spamming these takedowns Marab style. Granted, I don't consider his grappling where I consider Marab's, because at least when Marab gets you down, he can keep you there. A lot of these takedowns that Gamrot gets, his opponent does find their way back to their feet. He's good at getting the takedowns and scoring them, but he's not so good at really securing them and racking up the time. I mean, he's high level. I want to take RDA so bad here. And you know what? Fucking, even though I have Gamrot by decision written down here, and I know how bad of a matchup for RDA this is, I'm just gonna go against you guys. I'm gonna take RDA
Okay.
by decision. Give me the nostalgia, man. One more fucking time.
RDA decision. Um, and you're putting that on record for this, huh? Okay. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't. It's kind of like you putting your Jamie Pickett on record. It's like, you don't feel good about it. You're destined to lose it, but you know what? I'm gonna go with my heart here. So that usually means fade me, but
Sure.
have fun fade me with a minus 400.
Hey, I
No.
felt pretty good after Jamie Pickett dropped fucking onders, especially at plus money.
Oh my God.
Plus
I'll
money. I
tell
hit
you what,
twice.
uh, Eric Eric Anders just made my parlay ban list. I will never bet on him ever again.
Me too.
Yeah.
Never again. Can't wait to fade him. Can't wait.
Yeah, you fade him next fight just blindly, even if he's fighting.
It's not even the fade list. You're just banned from my parlays forever. You're indefinitely dead to me because you got dropped by Jamie
He'll
Pickett.
never be at that line again to be parlayed. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I felt good about that honestly early on, but I was gonna say something. Oh, you said Marab and his takedowns. I think RDA or Gamrot's takedown and control is way better than Marab's. I mean, Marab against Piotr Jan landed 11 takedowns. That means that Jan got up 10 times. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, but he still had him controlled. He was still racking up the time because of the amount of time they stayed pressed against the cage.
sure. Okay. I get what you're saying. So actual control time, not ground control time. Okay.
And it's like, even though, you're watching someone pinning someone on the cage, it's boring and you're not seeing much, but I'll always maintain if I am holding you and you can't escape, I'm winning.
Yeah. 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 And you said it perfectly there. It's a boring but very effective style. It's what Khabib did. If it wasn't standing against the fence, it was, pushing him against the fence on the ground. And a lot of dum-dums consider him the greatest of all time for having that
And
boring style.
that was the majority of Khabib's takedowns. He needs to get you to the fence before he gets you down. Very rarely did you ever see Khabib with someone on the ground in the middle of the mat. It's always against the fence. And as soon as you touch the fence and you're the aggressor in that clinch, the control time starts counting. So something to keep in mind for your fantasy if they rate that control time high.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's all control time. I mean, that's why like I'm not going to have Michelle or Mihal in hardly any of mine because I think it's going to be standing 99% of the time. And you even said yourself, Jared, you took the sub, but you know that that's not likely. That's just something that you're going for as kind of like a flyer because
Right, and
Michelle has the advantage on the ground. Go ahead.
that sub isn't like me thinking he's going to come in with a grapple heavy game plan. It's going to be him clipping him and jumping on an opportunity.
Right, right.
So I see minimal control time in that. I feel like that's going to play out on the feed all the way until it's not.
Okay. Yeah, no, I respect it. Moving up to the second ladies fight on the card. And this is an interesting one for sure. Marcee, the future barber, versus Caitlin Chukagian. I'm not trying to learn this new name. I don't know what the fuck that is. Chukagian. She's always Caitlin Chukagian. I got cards of Caitlin Chukagian. Not that I bought on purpose. They just were in packs that I bought. I would never buy a card of Caitlin Chukagian because she is very fucking boring. Split decision wins over everybody. I'm curious what you think about this. Both of you guys, very curious, actually.
Passionate play. Passionate. Dropping the balance on Marcee Barber. This girl's coming into her own again. After that last fight, this girl's letting the hands go again. She's letting them hands go. I'm all over her. She's going to knock Caitlin out. I'm going with round 3 knockout. I'm confident in this one. She's going to break into the top 5. No one wants to see Caitlin fight. Let's go, Marcee Barber. Show me them hands like you did against Lemos. I'm all about it. I'm biased. I'm passionate. This is my passionate pick of the card. I'm all over my girl Marcee Barber. She pissed me off before that Amanda Ribas fight, winning these robbery decisions. But now she made me happy in that last fight. She let them hands go. She didn't hold back. And if she shows up the same way she did in that last fight, she's going to put this girl out. Confident parlay piece. Let's go.
Dude, yeah, it's interesting because I had this written down. I had Barber KO3 written down for myself as well. But I am very tempted, and I might later on do a little pick flip. I don't know though. I don't know. I think that Chukagian just will do the same shit that she's always done. But I actually took Barber in a knockout against Hebos when they fought because I heard someone breaking it down where Hebos doesn't get hit very well, and she's a lot smaller. I think she fights a division down. I think that Hebos fought at strawweight a little bit of the time. So moving up against the power of Barber, I took that knockout bet, and I was very happy with it, obviously, because it was a fucking long shot. I think that these guys are going to go, or these ladies, I should say, are going to go back and forth. It's going to be pretty tight, pretty even. But I think that Barber is going to get the bigger minutes because realistically, this goes to decision, right? But I have written down for myself as well, same exact thing as you, KO round 3 for Marcee Barber. I mean, I don't know. This could be a very fucking boring stinker of a fight, but we'll see what happens. Jared, where are you at here?
Yeah, I'm glad that you're not calling her by her new name because I fucking read that. I said the same thing. Like, nah, you're Chukagi and you always will be.
Right.
Um, Dude, she's been fighting at the highest level for a very long time. And one thing that you've talked about before is MMA karma. I think Marcee Barber is long overdue for some MMA karma. She got a robbery, a blatant robbery against Miranda Maverick, and she got an even more blatant robbery against Andrea Lee. She's on my list, and I'm not missing the ship here. I'm taking Chukagian. She's taller, she's longer. She usually hits nothing but air, but she does have the better, at least more output. Um, and the names that she's losing to, they're respectable names. I don't see Barber getting her out of here. She's been finished by two girls. Jessica Andrade, who is a very handsome woman and hits fucking hard, and Valentina Shevchenko. I don't think Barber gets her out of here. I'm gonna go Chukagian to win a decision. And if she did, and I think this fight definitely goes the distance. And I wouldn't be shocked if Barber fucking squeaks out another robbery.
Yeah.
But I'm going against it, man. Give me Chukagian decision all day.
If you want to bet the safe and you want to take Chukagian safe, just bet her decision only. So that after Marcee Barber knocks her head off, you can get your money back risk free. There you go. Save your money. Do not hit this on the money line. Better at favorite odds at decision only, because that's the only way this woman can win. She is not finishing Marcee Barber. Let's go.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that. And to Jared's point too, Jessica Andrade, handsome woman and all that, she might have a bigger dick than all three of us, to be honest.
Combined.
She looks like a dude. I don't know if she's got an OnlyFans and it's terrifying. That same dude sent me a picture of her. It looks like a dude. Like she has no tits, dude. It's wild. So that's one thing to think about, which has no effect on this fight. But yeah, man, Barber came in with the hands against Hebos. Hebos is not very good though, man. Especially if somebody can strike and has some kind of takedown defense. I think that Rose Namajunas fucks up Hebos in their main event coming up in the Apex. I think that's next week. That's going to be an interesting one too. Yeah,
She doesn't rig it like she did against Carla Esparza. I'm never touching one of her fights again. That was the most rigged fight I've ever seen. Someone told her, do not swing.
Are you saying Carla versus Rose?
Yeah.
Yes, that was such a rigged fight, man.
Well, you remember that, right? That was the week before Esparza's wedding.
Yeah.
So that's why they didn't want her getting pieced up.
Exactly. Someone paid someone off in that fight. I was very pissed off, and it was Rose. She threw that fight. Someone told her, "Hey, we'll give you an extra 250K if you don't throw or land 50 punches." No problem. Easy. Yeah, I'll never trust her again. She is fixing fights.
She's like, I'll see your I won't land 50 and I'll land 0. Cause yeah, that was wild. They just stared at each other for 25 minutes. It was horrible. We're about to come up to another fight fixer here shortly. And I think you guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, man, just weird stuff. And it's actually the very next fight here. Jailton Almeida versus Curtis Blades. You don't think, dude, Jailton Almeida was like, yeah, I think that fight to go the distance was plus 1,000 on average. And you don't think that Jailton Almeida was like, hey, do you guys want to make some fucking money? Throw down.
Well, the John Jones. John Jones did that before too.
Pull your money, like all your money up, take liens against your house, take all this shit, put it on fight to go the distance and take me. I'm going to sit on top of this guy for 45,000 hours and just sit there. It looked like they were fucking. It literally looked like they were having sex in there. Weird stuff. Who do you got here in this one, Alex?
When I first looked at the fight, I was like, I kind of like Jailton, but after doing some tape and study, I just feel like it's going to be a stand-up fight, and I don't trust Jailton in the stand-up. I trust Curtis Blades in the stand-up. He might be a little bit more chinny, but I just think he's going to be more technical on the feet. He's going to have higher volume. I just don't trust Jailton Almeida on the feet at all, and if he can't out-wrestle Curtis and we see a 5-round stand-up battle, I'm going with Curtis Blades. You know, as long as that chin holds up, I think Curtis Blades could win a decision here, and I think he could even finish him on the feet. I just think Curtis is more well-rounded, in my opinion. He's gonna if I had to bet this, I would do a double method like Jailton by submission or Curtis Blades by decision. And with that being said, I'm gonna go with Curtis Blades decision. He's gonna gatekeep, and this is where the gate gets closed on Jailton.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you more, man. I think that Curtis Blades' fight IQ is that of a goldfish, possibly. I mean, he's fighting someone like Sergey Pavlovich, and he's like, let me just not even look at your legs to take you down. Let me stand with you. Wild decision. Yeah, he has a win over Tom Aspinall. That was a injury victory.
Fluke.
Yeah, absolute fluke.
Another rigged fight. Another rigged fight.
Well, he came in with that hurt leg, so yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, he was grabbing it at the face-offs. I smelt that coming.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little weird. I will say that Curtis Blades has next to zero takedown defense because only two guys have shot on him, but both of those guys took him down. Let me see where his takedown defense actually is exactly, just to give you the number, because the reason I bring this up, takedown defense is 33%. He's also 33 years old. 33%, man. I mean, again, not too many people are trying to take this guy down, but when they do, they're taking him down. And Jailton is going to land a takedown. 1,000%. He's going to take him down. Unless, Blades just starches him in the first minute or whatever, which I don't see happening. I think did you guys realize too that Curtis Blades has like a stutter?
Yeah, he's always had that.
Yeah, I never knew that, to be honest, because I've never really cared about, his fights or anything, so I never listened to his interviews. But I actually think he's not very intelligent. And I don't mean to say that in like a fucked up way, but I think his fight IQ reflects that. I think that he's kind of a dumb dude. Again, no disrespect. I'm dumb too, but I'm not fighting out there and I'm not trying to use my brain in fights like that. So I think Jailton Almeida is high fight IQ. I don't think that he has any room to rig this for his buddies back in the favelas of Brazil. So I think that Jailton goes out here, and I actually think that he might knock out Blades, and I think he's going to do it early. I think he's going to knock him out in round one because Blades is chinny. He's gotten knocked out by the very hardest hitters in this division: Derek Lewis, Sergey Pavlovich. Forget who else knocked him out.
Jailton is not one of those guys.
I understand that, but he does have knockouts.
Packing weight at heavyweight too. This man ain't 265. He's really a light heavyweight. I think he's gonna walk into a wall in this heavyweight division, and he's gonna go right back down to light heavyweight where he belongs.
Yeah, I actually don't think he belongs down there, man. I think that it makes a lot of sense to not cut weight. Like, why would you want to cut weight? Look at the heavyweight division versus the fucking light heavyweight division. These guys are so fucking out of shape and so like they're not athletes. None of them are athletes. Cyril Gane's an athlete. Francis Ngannou, who's gone's an athlete. John Jones isn't even looking like much of an athlete anymore.
Saying if it was Cyril Gane in this spot, I think Cyril Gane would knock out Jailton Almeida. I just think he's not going to have a path to getting the title at heavyweight. I think would have a better. I just think his power would work better at light heavyweight. I think his size would be good there. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but
yeah,
he's been doing well so far.
What you're saying makes sense, 1,000%. But like with that, Cyril Gane analogy with that whole thing. I mean, John Jones took Gane down in like it feels like 5 seconds. I know it was a little longer than that. Choked him out right away. You don't think Jailton would just do the same thing? I mean, I know it's John Jones, but dude, John Jones is not the same John Jones that he used to be. And I think that we'll see that if he ever fucking fights again. But we can agree to disagree here. I am fairly confident on an early knockout from Jailton, whether it's ground and pound or whatever it is. I think that Jailton gets this done because of the horrible fight IQ of Curtis Blades. I think I put his fight IQ in some of the worst of the UFC, to be honest. That's just me though. But Jared, where are you at?
I'm kind of on the same page with you as far as fight IQ. That's a big concern with me for Blades. I mean, there's two things you can question with him. It's his chin and it's his IQ. Because I mean, he just said he had such a clear path on the ground against Pavlovich. And he says, I'm just going to strike with this guy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a recipe for disaster. I don't know if it's an ego thing. He doesn't, he's not popular. He doesn't really seem like a guy that would have an ego problem, but it's, yeah, it just kind of sucks with him. But what I will say is in this fight, he's way better on the feet. And I think he's the better wrestler. As gifted as Almeida is in grappling, I do think Blades is the better wrestler. And I know his takedown defense isn't good. I feel like all things are kind of pointing at Almeida here. If Almeida wins, this is probably one of the last times we're going to see him at even odds. But in my opinion, I mean, this guy is on my list of fades. He's 6-0 in the UFC. I think he's overhyped, and he's a one-dimensional grappler. He wants it on the ground. If he doesn't get it on the ground, I'm not worried about this guy on the feet at all. And I'm
I
going to use a cliche. Every round starts on its feet. As long as this fight's on its feet, it should be all Curtis Blades. I think he can avoid the ground, and if he does get there, I think he can stay safe. Give me Curtis Blades to find a late knockout. I'm going to call it round 3.
wild, wild. If I'm gonna bet Jailton here, it's gonna be submission. That's the only way I would bet him. I
Yeah.
guess he could win the decision too,
Yeah.
but the submission prop's the only thing I would be willing to touch.
Yep.
And what is that even at?
It's probably minus money.
Plus,
That's probably
plus
a dog shit.
235, which isn't that bad. Yeah, I mean, if you want to throw that in a couple punts, I'm not gonna hate you. But Curtis Blades by decision plus 300 is what I would feel comfortable laying on.
Yeah, so what's his name? Jailton Almeida does have a few knockouts in the UFC. They're not against great competition, but there's not great competition at heavyweight until you get up to Curtis Blades level, right? I mean, top 10. I would even say like the top 10 aren't awesome. It's like really like the top 8. I don't even know. I'll look up these names real quick of who they are, but my logic with the knockout is that he's gonna get this down early. I think that like I said, horrible takedown defense from Curtis Blades. Jailton gets this fight to the ground early and potentially takes the back of Curtis Blades, and Blades is so worried about defending the choke or defending whatever that he just leaves wide open, because that horrible fight IQ leaves wide open shots to his fucking big old head, and Jailton's going to rain down punches probably from his back and knock him out. TKO. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm fairly confident in it, like I said, but I'm very confident in a Jailton win. Jared, I'm sorry, you said Jailton which way? Or what did you say?
No, I have Curtis Blades round 3 knockout.
Okay.
And if I'm being completely honest, Almeida probably is going to sub him because Blades is fucking dumb. But skill for skill, leaving the brain cells out of it, I'm taking Blades by knockout.
Okay. Hey, oh man, I am noticing something right now, because you know how you posted something, Jared, where I think you posted like, and it was on your Teep Picks page, where you posted like the face-offs, and Dana White was looking at every single person that won, right?
Yeah, that was weird. I didn't even realize that till he pointed it out.
Yeah. So I've noticed a new trend, and we'll see if this continues. On the UFC homepage, whenever I've gone there, and I don't know if they changed this up, but on the homepage, especially when there's an event going on, usually around Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. We're recording this on a Wednesday, right? So what's interesting is on the homepage, they'll have a featured story of a fighter. 2 weeks ago, it was Brandon Royval, huge underdog. He fucking won, right? Not huge underdog, but he won. Last week, it was Jairzinho Rosenstrike. That was on the homepage, featured story. And this week, can you guys guess who it is without looking? Don't cheat.
Let me
Is it
guess,
Jailton?
Marlon Vera. Come on.
No, it's not Cheeto. I know. I heard you say that too, Jared. It's Dustin.
Is it CJ Vergara? Oh, it's
Dustin the
Poirier.
Diamond Poirier, baby. So, I mean, if this trend goes, this is going to be another thing that we're going to have to watch. But yeah, Dustin the Diamond Poirier is on here. Take a closer look at the 2 men featured in the 5-round co-main event. It doesn't have both men pictured. It just has DP pictured here. So very interesting. I hope he fucking wins too, not to spoil it, but looking at these heavyweight rankings real quick, just real fast. You've got John Jones, kind of fake in my opinion. So let's just not count him. Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gahn, Sergey Pavlovich, Stipe Miocic, Curtis Blades, Alexander Volkov, Jailton Almeida, Sergey Spivak. That's where it cuts off. Sergey Spivak is not great, man. Tai Tuivasa, not great. Marcin Tybura, bad, I think. Jairzinho Rosenstrike, bad. Derek Lewis was great. And then you get the whole thing. Marcos Rogério de Lima is ranked number 14. So it's not a good division. So that's why I think I don't know how we got there in the first place, but I remember I said I was going to mention the rankings. It's not a deep division at all, man. But yeah, let's go DP. All right, I'm going to go back to Tapology, pull this up. And the next fight of the night for Alex to cover here is a fucking banger. That was a featured prelim, by the way, so we're getting the main card. Got to fork over $80 unless you want to watch a fucking nasty.
Get me for the stream, baby. We
Dude,
saving
the
bread
streams
out
suck,
here.
man. The streams are so.
Get me for them streams.
Alex, I just texted Andrew earlier today and I said, do you want to just split the pay-per-view this weekend? Because you know, with this big of a card, so many people are going to be watching. We're going to be lagging.
Dude, yeah.
I'll throw 20 on it.
Dude, I split it with a buddy. Actually, what you can do, as far as I know, for people out there, this is like a little life hack that my buddy in Colorado told me about. You can split a pay-per-view at least two ways. I don't know if you can do more than that. So 40-40, which is fine. And you basically, like, the one person has it logged in, they have it open on streaming on their TV, and then whoever else goes in and says they forgot their password. You put in your buddy's password that already has their shit open, and then you get a link emailed to him, and then he sends you that code to log into his account. So it's basically two TVs that are logged into one account. And for now, the algorithm doesn't seem to know, or the robots or whoever the fuck's controlling it, don't seem to know that it's in like two completely different states, like not the same house or anything like that. So in theory, it's like watching, the fight on two TVs in the same location. But interesting little life hack there. But we got Peter Yan, or Piotr Yan, however the hell you say his name, who I think's been robbed in a couple of his last fights. One against Sean O'Malley was kind of weird. Against an up and coming, younger but more UFC experienced fighter in Song Yadong. Really interesting matchup here, man. Do you think that Piotr Yan gets back in the winning column after 3 consecutive losses, something that no one would ever thought would have happened to this dude so early in his career? Or do you think that he continues losing? Alex, what do you think goes on?
He's losing. I think he's on his way out of the UFC. I think he's getting cut. I think Song Yadong's going to break into the top 5, baby. He's the marketable one. And Peter Yan, man, ever since he kneed Aljamain Sterling in the head, I've never looked at him the same. I can't trust him. He's probably a rigged fighter, in my opinion, too. Like, how do you do that? You're up the whole fucking card. You're up winning that whole fight, and you just throw it away like that. I just don't know where his head's at. I don't think his head's in the game. I don't think he's motivated. Like, what is his goal right now? He's not getting a belt back. He's a gatekeeper now, and I just think he's in here for a paycheck. These are the type of fighters, so you know what I mean? They get a main event. They get those main event pay-per-view cards, and they're just happy to show up for their 100K, 200K paycheck. And that's what I think he's coming here to do, get his paycheck. He's probably going to fight, hard. But what fishes me out here is the line, because I would have capped Song at like a favorite here. Given the bad tear that Peter Yan's on. I like Song here, and I'm pretty confident here. Another dog bet. What is this, my second dog bet of the card? Pretty confident here, unless you count Curtis Blades as a dog. Pretty confident here in Song Yadong.
Is he a dog?
Yeah, it's Song Yadong is plus.
No, Blades a dog. Sorry.
Yeah, Blade it's about even, but he's slight.
Okay.
Dog.
Are they both minus money, you're saying?
Both a pick 'em, but
okay.
I'm all over Song Yadong. This is the fight that stuck out to me right away. I said dog money on Song Yadong against Peter Yan. Give me that all day.
Yeah, Song is going to come in with a solid game plan with Team Alpha Male. They're fucking good at game planning over there with Uriah Faber. I almost wanted to say Hall.
I'm gonna go with decision.
Decision for Song.
And here's the thing: is that Peter Yan always losing the first 2 rounds. He's gonna lose the first 2 rounds, probably look good in the third. It's not gonna be enough. And boom, you're gonna lose the decision. Peter Yan is one of the worst 3-round fighters out there. He never looks good in 3-round fights. He's not gonna look good in this one, in my opinion. I got Song Yadong outpointing him for 2 rounds to 1.
Okay. Yeah, I get that, dude. And I mean, I like both these guys. I think that they're both talented fighters. Just for some reason, man, I'm picking Jan, to be honest. And I think that the reason that I'm doing that is that Song is so unpredictable. He's still so young. He's not, I know he's improving like leaps and bounds between each fight, but I think he still has a lot of growing to do. I have no doubt that he's going to be champion someday in this division. I really do think so. But I think Jan wins this, and I think he does it by decision. I think that he wins the first round. I think he wins the second round. I think he gets a 30-27, dude. I think he comes in here and actually fucking changes his style up a little bit because this dude's never lost 3 times in a row. You can do the cut your neck all you want. That's what I think. And until this happens,
He's getting cut. He's going to Bellator.
Bellator's not even a thing anymore.
Whatever, PFL. That's where he belongs.
He should go to ONE FC.
That's the only,
that beat.
yeah,
Ooh,
ONE
well.
FC. It's the only place he'd ever touch gold again.
I'm not saying that he touches gold, but I think that he beats Song here. Because you look at, I mean, I don't know, man. I just think that people are counting him out because of the way that he's performing. With the fight fixing thing that you said, that's an interesting take. I haven't considered that. That could be very possible. But you know, these Russians, they're very proud. Obviously, money speaks to people. But he was looking at his corner to see if Aljo had his hands down, and his corner said yeah. So it might have been something that got lost in translation. The corner could be fixing fights. I don't think he personally is. So I'm going Jan. I'm going decision. I think he could also finish Song. Song's got some scar tissue on his face, as we saw from fucking what's his name, from Corey Sandhagen. And Corey Sandhagen's beat both these guys, by the way. So it's a great matchup, man. This is a really, really fun fight. But I think that Jan gets the decision here, and I think it's a 30-27, which is, I know it's
I got a fact check right there. Jan absolutely fucking dogged on Sandhagen.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Down 2 rounds. He lost the first 2 rounds on all the
He lost the first round and he fucking dogged on Sandhagen in the last
Okay,
two.
my bad.
I'm a big Sandhagen fan, bro. I literally watched the fight today.
Okay. Yo, what do you hate Sandhagen, dude? No, I'm just kidding.
I love Sandhagen.
No, I like him too, man.
He's one of my favorite. I was pissed when he took that Umar fight before he got injured because I'm like, this guy deserves a title shot and he's about to fuck that all up by losing to Umar.
Dude, he would fuck Umar up.
I think he would. I would not be able to not bet him in a situation like that, but that's such a huge risk, no reward. And I just seeing it, I'm like, man, as much as I think he would beat him, it's a huge risk because if he loses that fight, he's not getting a title shot. And at the end of the day, he's fighting a Nurmagomedov who can do Nurmagomedov type things.
Right, but like look at, I mean, so the way like Corey Sandhagen's mentality, I know you know this, I'm saying this for the audience. His mentality is that of a real martial artist. He's also a fighter. You know how we distinguished like the martial artist versus the fighter, and the fighter wins 9 times out of 10 with those two? Because this is a fight. It's not a martial arts competition. This isn't a point thing. This is as close to a street fight as you can get where all rules are allowed except for bullshit. But like this dude called out Marab. I think Marab's a tough matchup for everybody in this division, you know, including Sean O'Malley. I think he's the toughest matchup. I think, you know, he could potentially be champion by the end of the year if he gets to fight Sean O'Malley. But he's calling out these kinds of guys. So I think that Marab versus Umar, that's the fight to make, dude. What a fucking fight that would be. But they shouldn't make Marab fight down anymore. Marab deserves a title shot. So I think Marab fights O'Malley next, or, you know, probably not because we'll see what happens here. But, you know, O'Malley's a star. They want him to win. But we got off track a little bit there. What do you think about this fight?
So what I think is these guys are so similar. They're both durable. They're both fast. That I will say I think Song Yadong has a little bit more pop to his punches. I mean, this dude, he hits so fucking hard. These guys are both super accurate, super fast, super tough. There's just so many similarities between them. It's hard to pick one or the other. I a great bet here. I'm sure the odds are fucking. Actually, I know the odds are trash. Fight goes the distance. It's got to be a parlay piece. These guys are both too tough, man. They're
Minus
both
two.
so tough.
Minus 250, it sounds like. You cut
And
out there. Is that what it was, Alex? Yeah.
this whole losing streak that Jan is on, I mean, realistically, he beat Aljo. I mean, with that knee and everything. And then in their rematch, it was a split decision, but I still give Aljo the fair shake there. But that split decision against O'Malley, I don't know, man. Fucking, it depends if you how much you value, control time, or it's just he's had some fights that were very close against very high level guys. I think this is a situation where everyone's kind of forgetting how good Piotr Jan really is. He has great Muay Thai, man. The only thing he has over Song, because they're equal in so many ways, is he mixes it up well as far as throwing elbows and kicks and that clinch work that he has. I don't know if it's going to be enough against Song. It's a super tough fight to call. I definitely think it goes to the distance, but you put a gun to my head, I have to take Piotr Jan by decision. I think everyone's forgetting how good he is, man. This guy's a real deal. And
Everyone's forgetting 65% of the bets are on Peter Yan. People are still
so
fucking
why
around
so why is the line movement going in favor of Yadong? He opened at
because
what,
the
plus
sharps, the
120?
sharps are pounding Song.
So it's not about where the bets are at, it's about where the money's at. And
Oh,
I'm not even talking about that, man. I just think skill for skill, these guys are so fucking good. It's a coin flip, and I'll tell you right now, I am not betting this fight. This is the fight as a fan. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the fucking chaos because it's gonna be a banger.
Yeah. Dude, it's gonna be awesome. And I'm kind of with you there. I don't know, like I'm not gonna have much action on this at all. Neither one of these fighters are in any of my fantasy lineups because I think it's gonna be a striking match, and who knows what the fuck happens. It's probably a very close win. Could be a split decision win for one guy or the other. In that scenario, I tend to favor the Chinese fighter because um I mean everybody hates Russia right now for no fucking reason. I mean, Piotr Jan isn't going in and fucking invading Ukraine or whatever the fuck they're trying to tell us is going on over there. But, everyone just hates Russians right now, which is bullshit. Because China's doing a lot worse shit to us, but Song's not doing that either. So, people just need to kind of, separate the politics and the government from the citizens and the fighters and whatnot. But Alex, what you were saying, man, all the sharps being on Song, sharps are wrong too, man. Like they're not always right. They miss. So I think that, following smart money, it makes sense, but you can't, and I know you don't do this. I'm just, trying to make this clear to everyone. There's this show that this one dude does that's like, he's kind of been an automatic fade lately. And I don't mean to talk any shit, but he does this show called the Sharp Action Report. He doesn't do it anymore because I think the thing that
hate him.
Clint,
Hate Clint. He blocked me on everything because he can't handle no smack talk.
he's
He
kind of,
really
he's weird,
can't.
dude.
He's a bitch. He's a soy boy. He can't handle a little. You can come smack talk me after every bad pick I give out. I'll take it on the chin with a smile. But him, bro, I remember I faded him. He picked Luis Pena versus that black guy with the mohawk. I forget his name, but he was like minus 300, and I bet the plus 250, and he didn't hear the end of it from me. And he blocked me, and it's just, you shouldn't be in this industry if you can't handle a little smack talk from another capper.
Oh, dude, I said that to you guys when we got on here. Like, we got to talk shit to each other. It's not like I'm like, dude, you guys, I fucking hate you. It's just like, it's shit talk. I mean, dude, I shit talk with my dad. You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to shit talk about this. So, I mean, I'm not trying to pile on this Clint dude, but, he got named as one of the four horsemen that this other capper put out there. These guys with negative long-term results. Like, and it was so bad, so Clint lost his spot on Pub Sports Radio is what they call. They kicked him off. I would assume it's because of his results and because of, just the way that people complain about his results. But yeah, dude, this guy seems like an interesting, weird kind of dude. And maybe we shouldn't talk shit about him because he always talks about how great at jujitsu he is.
I want to pay
Okay.
Ryan to beat him up.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, jujitsu's are fucking for nerds, to be honest. You want to pay who?
I want to pay you to beat him up.
He lives in Arizona.
Yeah, you look like the same weight class as him, so I'd be willing to drop the balance on that.
You'd take me? All right, cool. Yeah, I'll feed him some knees when he tries to do his bullshit jiu-jitsu takedowns. No, I've actually DM'd with him back and forth, and he seemed like a nice guy. It's just, he's got bad picks, and I know you don't like him. A lot of people don't fucking like the guy. And I'm curious as to what is really going on there, because he doesn't seem like he's on the up and up. But anyway, I don't know how we started talking about him. What was I mentioning before we started talking about him? Why do we start talking about that? I want to finish.
Back for it, sharp money.
Oh, he has this show called The Sharp Action Report. Thank you. Where they talk about like the big guy. They call this one guy the big guy. He's got to bet on so and so. And more times than not, the big guy fucking misses. And they'll tell you that that's not the case, that this guy's got a 99% fucking betting accuracy. Every time I've tailed the big guy, I fucking lose. So, these sharp guys do miss. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this, man. Jared and I both on Yawn, Alex on Song. You're going to either look like a genius or an asshole in this one, Alex. So let's go. But
If one thing's certain, this fight is going the distance.
it
These
seems
guys are
like it
so
would.
fucking tough, man. Both of them.
I hope he knocks Peter Yan's head off. Let's go.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. Peter Yan, another one of these guys, he's supposedly 31 years old. This dude looks like he's been 31 for 15 years. They build him a little different out there in Russia. Maybe got a little bit higher testosterone. This guy does not look 31. This guy's younger than me. He looks fucking older. I don't know, but we'll move on up the card. We have Gilbert Burns versus who I think is actually the best middleweight in the world right now, Jack Della Maddalena. What do you think about this, Alex? I see you making a weird facial
Well,
expression.
I've been back and forth. I'm not happy to bet this one. I want to take the no distance. That's really a bet I want to take. I want to take Gilbert Burns, double method, Gilbert Burns by sub, or Jack Della by KO. That's really something I'm probably going to throw into a round robin. It's going to be plus money, in my opinion, or close to even. I've been back and forth here. I just think Burns has fought the better competition, and I'm going to go with the dog money on Burns. I think this line's a little bit off. I think Burns should be the favorite, or it should be at least a pick 'em. I'm getting a little bit of extra plus 140, plus 135 on Burns. I'm going to take that. I'm not super confident on this fight. This should be a great fight to watch. I just think he has more ways to win. I think he can wet blanket him. I think that submission's going to be open the whole night. And on the feet, I think he can hold his own until he opens up, for an opportunity to get a takedown or even show a finish. But, as long as Burns holds up on that cardio and just seeing how he's fought in his last couple fights, he's showing that he's still got that dog in him. I'm going to go with Burns by submission, round 1. No, we'll scratch that. We'll go round 2. Not super confident, but I will be betting a double method. Jack by KO, Burns by sub. That should be around minus 120, minus 110. And if you want to get greedy and just take the no distance at minus 170, I don't mind that. But all the props here, except for maybe Jack Della by sub and maybe Burns by KO, is absolutely live here. And this is one of the more unpredictable fights on the card. Better beware on this fight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Burns is actually a really nice DraftKings play because of that, what should be a grapple-heavy approach, if you're doing, the fantasy stuff. I'm going to talk about fantasy from now on, too, because, it's fun. But if you look at the most recent wins for Gilbert Burns, George Masvidal, the ghost of George Masvidal, Neil Magny, that was kind of like the outlier in the ones that I'm going to say, because he went out there and just fucking choked this dude in 45 seconds. That was a phenomenal performance. But he went to decision with Stephen Thompson in 2001. That's not that long ago. Stephen Thompson has far worse takedown defense than JDM. Maybe not on paper, but just like from what I see, right? From what I think we've all seen. So I don't know. I think that this is going to be realistically somewhere, it's going to be a mixed martial arts fight. I think that it's going to take place on the feet and on the ground. But the judges, we've been seeing these judges, they're scoring damage the way that they should score damage. They're not scoring control time nearly as much as they used to. So, I mean, we saw that in Mexico, especially Mexico City, where it's like there was a couple of what we would think a year or two ago would have been robberies, like the Jesus Aguilar fight, the what was it, Dos Santos fight as well, where it's like, these guys were controlled. They were laid on top of wet blanketed, as you said, Alex, and that doesn't work anymore. Thank God, because that's such a fucking boring style for people. Especially if you're trying to charge $80 for a pay-per-view, you should not be wet blanketing people to a 15-minute decision. So I'm going JDM. I do have him by decision. I think Burns is too tough, but I think JDM gets another decision. If we're talking about MMA karma, JDM may deserve to lose this one because that Basel Hafez fight. But Basel Hafez definitely not the grappler that Gilbert Burns is. But you got to also remember that JDM was preparing for like 100 different opponents that week. I think it was like 3 different opponents. So he was initially preparing for a striker, and then I forget who else it was, and then ended up being a grapple heavy fighter. I can actually see who these opponents were supposed to be. Well, no, you can't. Oh yeah, Sean Brady, grapple heavy, right? And then Josiah Harrell, who I've never even fucking heard of, to be honest. I think he was being brought up from, he's being brought up from the LFA for his first ever debut performance there. So yeah, man, I just think I think JDM's the best in the world at this weight class. I think that he beats everybody. I really like him a lot. That dude's fucking nose looks left when he's looking right. It's a weird, wild face that dude has. But give me JDM, give me him by decision because Gilbert Burns is so damn tough. Jared, go ahead and draw this out a little bit if you need to. I'm gonna grab another beer.
Yeah, man. I'm actually really surprised that you think you're rating him as highly as you're rating him because he is a guy that has great boxing and really good distance management. That's where he has his success on the feet and just staying at that boxing range. But I think his last fight against Basil Hafez on short notice, it exposed a lot of holes in his game. Um, he has questionable cardio. His wrestling is not good. And even though, there were moments in that fight where he was the aggressor in the wrestling, you can tell as soon as he hits the mat, it's a lay and pray situation. He's just trying to run that clock out. I am so pleasantly surprised that Alex is also on Gilbert Burns here, because that's right where I'm at, man. You got a high level grappler. He has a very, very clear path to win on the ground, and he's gonna have to eat some punches to get them takedowns. But I think he's just so tough. I think he can get through it, man. I think he's gonna eat some shots on the way in. It's not gonna be a clean, sweat-free bet, but I'm totally on Burns here, man. Dude's tough as shit. And I just think, this is a big step up for Jack Della. I mean, he's ranked number 11. Gilbert Burns is ranked number 4. There's a couple fights on this card where it seems like a guy is skipping the line. It seems like Jack Della is skipping the line here, and I think he's going to get checked at the door. I'm taking the tough vet, man. I just, and Alex, you had made me so much more confident here, and you're on the same page as me.
Gate kept. The gate's getting
That
close.
that's how it feels, man. It feels like the gatekeeper's going to keep it. So, um, not that Jack Dell is a fish out of water on the ground because he is solid, but he's nowhere near the level of Burns on the ground. He could fucking do jujitsu every day for fucking ever, and he's not going to be on the same
Let's not
level.
forget,
So
it's a huge jump up. Huge jump up for Jack.
massive. You're number 11,
11
fight
to
number
number 4.
4.
Come on.
In his hand, I think we can all agree this is the toughest fight of his career. So I'm taking Gilbert Burns by submission, round 2, and I'm gonna fucking leave and come back because my laptop's dying and the charger's being a cunt. So I'll be
Okay.
back in like 2 minutes.
Cool. Yeah, dude. So I agree with what you guys said. You guys are both on Burns. You both got him by sub round 2. I like that. I like it. I don't know. I believe in Jack though, man. Jackie 3 names, as he's referred to sometimes. Let's move on up the
I
card.
haven't noticed the Aussie's been cold lately too.
What's up?
Australia's been cold, man. I can't remember the last time they had a fighter win.
Well, Steve Usyk this last weekend.
He's Australian?
Yes, sir. Haven't you heard him talk? He sounds like the fucking crocodile hunter. Let's move on up though here.
A money pick. Oh,
Huh?
he is Australia. That was a money pick last.
Oh, dude, yeah. And I think that we all had him by. Did we all have him by knockout? Let me
No, I
double.
had him by decision, but you guys actually. Jared said him getting his first finish in the UFC really made sense to me.
Yeah.
I ended up putting a little sprinkle on it.
Yeah, so actually, no one had him by knockout. I had him by sub round 3, and Jared had him by sub round 1, and I think that knockout came in round 2. So we were just all off, but we're all on the right side, so that's what matters. Um, Kevin Holland versus MVP. What a fun fight this is! So hyped. This is gonna be a striker's delight, you would think. If Kevin Holland has a fucking brain cell in his goddamn head, it should not be a striker's delight. It should be an MMA match. But we'll see, because there's also those dangerous knees that come from MVP, the one that cracked Cyborg's skull. That's a terrifying picture. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it out there. If not, check out Cyborg's skull after MVP knee. And then MVP was super disrespectful, throwing the Pokeball at him and shit afterwards. So yeah, interesting fight. But Kevin Holland is not a regional Bellator fighter. Let's be real. Bellator has regional level talent. Um, Not good fighters there at Bellator. Better than PFL, but not good fighters. So, who do you have between Kevin Holland and Michael Venom Page here?
I'm going back to the well here. Whenever they bring in a Bellator guy, reminds me of Michael Chandler. They don't bring him in to be champs. They really don't. They bring him in to be made example of because they want all the other MMA leagues to look bad in the eyes of the UFC. So they're gonna bring in all that Bellator fan base, all the PFL fan base, BKFC fan base, who are gonna be rooting for Venom Page. I mean, I'm rooting for Venom Page too, but they're all going to get their heart broken because the UFC's goal at the end of the day is to make all of these fighters from other leagues who are big names in other leagues. They like to bring them in to lose. I mean, just look at Ben Askren. You know, I guess he did win his first fight, but it didn't look that great. Didn't look that clean. But they bring him in to make it to be highlight reels.
Yeah.
And
Well, they
know,
traded Ben Askren for someone really good too.
I'm not super confident on this play, and I just know all the casuals are gonna look at his record and be like, "Well, he's 22-2, and he's 25-10. I got to go with the guy who's only lost twice." You know, then why is he the underdog? Because he's coming from a whole different league, lower level league, and I don't think he's fought the same competition as Kevin Holland. I'm gonna go Kevin Hall. I'm gonna go Kevin Holland here. I'm not super confident on this play. I will have a little bit of money on it. Not my biggest play on the card,
Okay.
but I'm gonna go Kevin Holland decision.
Decision is smart.
I think Michael Page can hang if he can hang with Mike Perry for in BKFC, and I just think we see a close decision, maybe even a split. And I'm gonna go with Kevin Holland here. I'm not super confident. I am pretty confident on that over 1.5. I think that's a parlay piece. It's getting juiced right now up to -400. I guess you could do like a round 3 start, but I think the fight goes the distance here, and I'll go with Kevin Holland by banana split decision.
Banana split decision. Yeah, this dude goes in there and loses to Mike Perry. Mike Perry, very tough, badass dude. It's a different sport. Bare knuckle boxing is a very different sport. But Mike Perry was never a great UFC fighter, not a good mixed martial artist. Tougher than shit and a badass motherfucker. Like if you're fighting someone on the street, Mike Perry's one of these last dudes that you want to fight because he's just so damn tough. And you're mostly punching in a street fight. This dude's very fucking good at that. Michael Page also got brutally knocked out by a shot that doesn't look like it should have knocked him out. And I agree with you. You brought up Michael Chandler though. Michael Chandler won his debut. He hadn't won another fucking UFC fight, but he won his debut. So that was against Dan Hooker, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think that you're right. I think that they absolutely bring these guys like Michael Page, Michael Chandler. It's interesting they're both named Michael, by the way. But these dudes come up and they don't. This is not the same level. Like I said, Bellator is a regional promotion. Realistically, they're not good fighters. Ryan Bader, who was getting his ass kicked in the UFC, obviously, goes down there, does great. Then he fights somebody else, another decent fighter, and gets fucking knocked out in 40 seconds or whatever. So, yeah, I think Michael Page gets knocked out here, actually. I think that it comes in round 2 by Kevin Holland, who is high. I mean, he's very, very good. He just needs to use better fight IQ than he's been using. He doesn't need to make this a fucking Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight where he gets a takedown and then lets him up, does this stupid shit. And you know that we're going to see so many high fives and laughing between these two, which you hate to see during a fight. I want these two to hate each other for 15 minutes. Afterwards, you can suck each other's dick or whatever you like to do, but don't do that shit. Don't high five, don't hug. And round 3, just go out there and someone get a finish. And I think that Kevin Holland gets the finish, knockout round 2. We're both on Kevin Holland here. Jared, where are you at with this one?
I'm on the other side, man. I'm taking Michael Page. I know it's Bellator level where he's looked great. I think he should have come to the UFC like fucking 5 years ago, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
is what it is. He was great in Bellator, and he's an explosive, dynamic striker. A guy that he's fucking long, shows a lot of different looks, and he's fighting a guy that's also long and he's pretty solid on the feet too. My issue with Kevin Holland is he's a guy that has a grappling advantage in this fight, and I do not for a second think he's going to use it until he feels something on the feet he doesn't like from Page. He's going to try to please the crowd. He's going to try to keep it exciting and stay on the feet with him, which honestly, I think that's a recipe for disaster. If he doesn't utilize his grappling advantage, he's stupid. And honestly, I don't think he's smart enough to utilize that. It's going to be until he gets tagged and he's shooting desperation shots. I know Michael Page is a Bellator guy, but they brought him in for a reason, and they're bringing him in against a great guy to beat. I mean, Kevin Holland is a dude that's been very open about he's here to make money. I don't think he's a guy that's very attached to winning or losing. He's just here to fight as often as possible and make as much money as humanly possible. I respect the game. I'm all on Michael Page here, man. Michael Page by knockout, round 2. First round, maybe they're high fiving, fucking shooting the shit, having a good time. I think it's going to heat up, and I think Page is just going to tag him up and find a finish here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you need to be a salesman with that pitch because that's fucking great. You hit on everything. I agree with everything that you said. I just think that that Holland is, the higher level fighter. Everyone that Michael Page has fought that I can remember has been considerably shorter than him as well. Kevin Holland will not be shorter. They're going to be, very similarly sized here, both at 6'3". It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a really, really fun fight. This deserves to be in the featured slot. Did you guys watch Countdown?
No,
You ever watch it or no?
I haven't watched it yet.
I love watching countdowns, man. I've watched it a couple times, and it's cool that they included, not only DP and BSD, but Holland and Page they included in there. And you look at the way that Michael Page fought, like in his karate days and stuff. He fights the same way, like doing these wild, like Matrix style kicks, doing 360 kicks, and 720 spins into a kick, and just wild shit. That stuff doesn't work at this level, I don't think. So, everything that you said there, Jared, is so fucking spot on. But just to me, I gotta be a believer in the UFC. That 25-10 record is not very enchanting, though. It's not speaking to me. That's a fucking bad record. And yeah, Kevin Holland, for all that we know, Dana White and Kevin Holland, who are good friends, Dana White comes in and says, "Hey, I'll throw you an extra 100,000, 200,000, whatever. Just lose to Michael Page. Let's get a new guy in here, make it fun." I could absolutely see that. But I could also see Dana White coming to him and say, "Hey, we want to embarrass these fucking Bellator guys. They're already done. You know, let's show them who the UFC is and whatever." But I don't know. It's a dicey fight, not one that you want to have much action on. Just enjoy the show there. Dustin,
I got action on it,
oh,
man. I'm sold. I'm on Michael Page. I am betting that 100%.
hell yeah, there you go, man. I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight. This is going to be a fucking awesome fight too. I think that this is main event material. I mean, I'm actually more excited for this over the Cheeto Marlon fight, just to see just how good BSD is, and if Dustin Poirier is still, just a dog. I know he's tough. He got knocked out last time, We'll see what happens. You guys know how I feel about DP, but where are you at, Alex, on this Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis matchup?
All right, first off, I got heavy money. I'm gonna put on the over 1.5 at -225. I like both of their durability here. The only way I feel like I lose that is by a Saint Denis early submission, fluky knockout from Dustin Poirier. But honestly, I think I might even bet this fight goes the distance. I think Benoit does what Michael Chandler should have done in his last fight, which was been smart, fight less on the feet, more grappling, more clinch work. And I think Benoit can wrestle his way to a decision here. It is juicy at +650. That's going to be one of my, round robin pieces for a Hail Mary. I'm going to put that in there. But I just think that, he has good IQ and he's going to mix it up well. I think he can hang on the feet a little bit with Dustin as long as he, doesn't look like a deer in headlights out there like he did against
Tiago?
Zhilei Dos Santos.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
But I'm really worried about that fight because I could see that happening too. And if he stands up too long and gives Dustin Poirier too much, room to breathe on the feet, he will get knocked out, and I think he will get put away. But I gotta go with Benoit Saint Denis here by decision. I think he's gonna be smart. I think he's gonna come in with a good game plan. He's just gonna wrestle his way to a decision. Like Michael Chandler was up 2 rounds against Poirier to nothing, to one, to none. And he goes out there and wants to strike with him in the 3rd round instead of trying to cruise his way to a decision. I think Benoit, the fact that it's a 3-round fight helps him, in my opinion. And
It's a 5-rounder.
It's a 5-rounder.
oh, it's a 5-rounder?
On
Oh,
per DP's request.
oh no.
Hopefully you didn't make too many.
Scratch that decision bet now.
Okay.
I'm not touching that now. No wonder it was juicy at +650. I was like, 3 rounds? +650 from Benoit? Let me get that. Now I know
would
why.
fucking jump on that too, dude. If +650,
I might do a side bet and do like Benoit and over 2.5. It'll probably be around like +200, +250. But yeah, I do like the over in this. I think this goes a little bit longer than we expect. They're both durable, even though Dustin did get dusted in his last fight. I just think Benoit has more ways to win here, in my opinion. I don't see Dustin, other than a fluky guillotine, I don't really see Dustin, winning this on the ground. I'm going to go with Benoit. But the fact that it is a 5-round fight helps Dustin so much better, in my opinion. So much better because we have no idea how Benoit's going to look late. First 5-round fight. That's the name of the game for Dustin Poirier is a 5-round fight. Now, if he's down 2 rounds, he's always live for a comeback. Always live. And, I like to think of Dustin as a slow starter as well. We've seen him with Hooker, slow start. Michael Chandler, slow start. Loses a lot of the early rounds on points. So I guess Dustin Poirier would be a good live bet. Watch him drop a couple rounds, first 2 rounds, and then just dump a nice +300, +350 on him. Live bet. I'd keep my eye on that. But before the fight, you got to go with Benoit.
Pre-flop.
And I'm going to go with decision. I'm going to stick with the decision. I'm not happy about it.
Okay. Yeah, 25 minutes with either one of these guys is wild, but man, I'm on Dustin Poirier, man, and I think I'm a big DP fan, and so people might think like, oh, this dude's just going to blindly pick DP. I picked Justin Gaethje to win that BMF belt. Why? Because it was for a belt. Dustin Poirier always comes short when he's fighting for a belt, unless it's an interim champion belt, which we know that's fake. You could say that the BMF belt's fake too, but it was still a belt. This is a tough spot to beat Dustin Poirier in. And there's a show that I really like listening to. This guy does really entertaining quick breakdowns. Kunith MMA. I think I shouted him out last show too. Phenomenal work that this dude does. And he was sitting there talking about all this shit. Benoit Saint Denis this, Benoit Saint Denis that. The line, all this stuff. He's just like, this dude is just an animal, but something doesn't smell right here. Why is the line like this? right? Everyone, dude, everyone that I hear is on BSD, on Benoit Saint Denis. Everyone. But Dustin Poirier isn't that big of a dog right now. Give me dog money. This is my underdog lock of the fucking card. Is fucking DP, dude. And like I said, I picked against him in the last fight. But give me Dustin Poirier. I think that he can actually finish Benoit Saint Denis, to be honest. I think that he really can, especially round 4, round 5. He could also do it earlier. But if you're putting a gun to my head, you telling me pick a round and a method. Dustin Poirier knockout round 4, I think is very live. And I think that he just brutalizes this dude. This is a massive step up in competition. If you're talking about the steamroller versus Dustin Poirier, I think that Dustin Poirier, he doesn't finish him round 1 like the way that BSD did, but he doesn't really do that. I think that Dustin Poirier likes to go out there and he likes to fight. He likes to go back and forth. He loves getting hit, it seems like. He's been through so many wars. But this dude is just, I mean, he's comfortable in these positions. He's going to look gassed after 10 minutes. But even if he's gassed, he just pushes forward and he keeps throwing with 100%. This dude's a fucking warrior, man. I love this dude. I just bought some of his hot sauce. I don't know if I mentioned that when we were recording. It's supposed to come with an autograph sticker. Very excited about that as well. So give me fucking DP, dude. Favorite fighter of all time in Dustin Poirier. What do you got here, Jared?
Dude, everything you're saying, it's making a ton of sense. Poirier, he's so tough, and he's forget about his last fight. He is durable. He has great boxing. He hits hard. But the thing I question here is like, it's almost like who has more to fight for? Poirier, he's so accomplished. He's made his money. And I just got to kind of wonder where his head's at right now. Coming off that bad KO loss, that might have just killed his title dreams, like put the nail in the coffin for it. I mean, I know he's successful enough. It's not like he's collecting a check, but this is, Saint Denis, it's hands down his most difficult fight yet. You got number 12 fighting number 3. He is skipping the entire line of a stacked division. I mean, this is such a huge jump in competition. I mean, if you're beating Poirier, you're one of the best guys in the world. I'm not sold that Saint Denis is that yet. Although he's exciting, he's hard hitting, he's a finisher. He's younger, he's probably hungrier, but this is just such a massive step up in competition. I never want to count Dustin Poirier out of a fight, but just because of recency, I gotta question some things. I'm gonna take Saint Denis to win a decision. I think it's gonna be a 5-round war, and I think he's gonna show that he is the god of war. It's a tough, tough fight. I wouldn't feel comfortable on either side. As much as I never want to count Poirier out of a fight, I have to pick Saint Denis here, man. He's got the youth and he's got the motive. I don't think Poirier goes for another title run here, because if he does, it's probably going to end up the same way his past 2 title shots have been, is him getting submitted. I hate to say it, but I think it's out with the old, in with the new. I'm going to take the guy that's skipping the line here, and I don't feel good about it. That's why I'm giving Poirier credit to go the distance. Saint Denis decision is the pick.
Dude, there's a lot of fights like that on this card. Curtis Blades versus Marcee, or I'm sorry, Curtis Blades versus Marcee Barber. Imagine that. Fucking
Marcee Barber all day.
Curtis Blades versus Jailton Almeida, Marcee Barber versus Chukagian, fucking
And Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della. It's
Gilbert Burns.
one of somebody skipping. Like there's 2 fights at least, like with Jack Della and Burns and Saint Denis and Poirier. It's 2 guys that are skipping the line of fucking stacked division.
Yeah.
So I think one gets through and one doesn't. So I'm gonna say RDA Gates keeps and Saint Denis wins. And who knows, maybe I have it reversed, but someone's gatekeeping, that's for sure.
You almost see that same thing too with Song and Yan, right? I mean, it's almost like the old guard and the new guard with Song and Yan too. So, I mean, there's quite a few fights. Kevin Holland versus MVP. I don't know if Kevin Holland's ranked off the top of my head, but
He's ranked 12 or 13.
okay. Well, so I mean, that's another thing too, where you got this outsider coming in, just looking to crack into the rankings. I didn't think Holland was ranked. That's interesting if he is, but either way,
I can hold on, let me check. I think it's very telling. Yeah, he's ranked 13.
okay.
I think it's very telling that the UFC is giving Page an opponent that's within the top 15 in his debut. Same thing they did
Have
with
to.
Chandler. You know what I mean? Like I know he was fighting in the B leagues, but I think he's earned it, man.
Yeah, they have to, I think. I mean, no one wants to see Michael Venom Page come into the UFC and fight fucking at a minus 1200 favorite. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. You got to make it compelling.
yeah. So that makes sense. But I mean, this is what we've been waiting for here. You guys are both on Benoit Saint Denis. You fucking traitors supporting the Frenchman.
As I got it sitting right here.
Oh, dude, is it signed?
It's no, it's not. It's just been staring at me that whole breakdown.
Which one is that?
That's just a normal hot sauce one he has. I'm not like big into maple shit, and I don't want to eat something so hot I'm fucking crying out of my nose. I like the normal hot sauce. It enhances every Chipotle experience.
Lovely. Hey, dude, I fucking love spicy shit. I'm one of those guys. I don't know if you guys ever watch Hot Ones. I'll
Oh, I
eat,
love that shit.
dude. I love eating stuff that makes you cry while you're eating it. I don't do it in public,
You're a
like at
fucking
restaurants.
psycho.
No, man. It was broken down. You guys seen that show Black Mirror, right?
I never watched it.
Okay. It's absolutely worth watching, especially if you like conspiratorial stuff at all. It's like the future. It's literally the future that we're moving towards. This dude broke this down, and it's similar to, and it's not the same level, but it's similar. You know how like when you go out there, you get in a fight, you feel alive when you feel the pain, right? Like the adrenaline and all this stuff. You feel alive when you get hit and when something hurts you, and then you come out on the other side of it. It's the same thing with hot sauce. Literally. It's not at that same level, but you're eating something and you're like, "Holy shit, this is fucking hot." And it triggers dopamine in your brain. Like dopamine releases when you eat spicy food, and then you just got to keep graduating up to hotter and hotter shit. Dude, I've got some of the hottest fucking hot sauce in my house. It is it's a good time, dude. I'm telling you right now. Once you start getting
That's so, dude. I'm someone that says I like spicy food, but I keep it within reason. I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, people would say the same thing about people that like getting punched in the face, right? Like it's the same thing where it's like,
That's fair.
how the fuck do you like getting hit and getting fucking bloodied up and bruised and concussed and all this shit? It's a dopamine rush, man. And it's very low level compared to fighting, but it's the same. This your brain doesn't recognize the difference. Let me put it that way. So yeah, dude, I fucking love that shit, man. Oh, give me the hot spicy stuff. I got the 3 pack. But let's move on to this main event. Alex, I know where you're at on this. I don't know if the audience does though. But we've got Sean O'Malley versus Cheeto Vera. This is a good fight. I don't think that Vera deserves this fight, to be honest. But it's going to be very interesting, and I want to hear both your guys' takes on this. But we start with Alex.
You know I'm on the dog, baby. I'm on Chito Vera. I'm on the challenger here to get that belt. I'm going with a late knockout. I think Marlon's the true 5 round fighter here. I think Sean's gonna get tired. It it's just he's gonna look good early. I'll give you that. Marlon always be losing round 1, round 2 to the scorecards. I'm gonna have that live bet bullet ready to fire. I'm not gonna have too much action on him pre-fight because I want a better line. I think it's just going to get better. I want him at like plus 350, plus 400. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it hard. I think he gets a late finish here. He's gonna make everyone sugar free again. I'm going with Chito Vera. I'm confident. One of my bigger snipes on the card. They're going to build that new market in Ecuador. You know how I am with, and this is another thing. Being that it's a new market and he could be the first Ecuadorian champion, if there is a close decision, he can still win it. Because you know how people are with, oh, you got to beat the champion like clear as day. Well, look what happened to Sean Strickland in Drickus. You know, that was a super close fight, and they gave it to the challenger. This is another situation where I think they want to build a whole market, and they want a champion in as many countries as they can, even if it's for a short time. The new markets is what the UFC wants. And I know Sean O'Malley is a fan favorite. If I were to bet Sean O'Malley here, it would be by decision. That's the only way I would hit him. I would bet him by decision only. which is probably going to be super juicy, but like minus 350. But that's the only way I would feel confident in betting Sean is only by decision. If you look at the finish only line, it's Vera's the favorite, minus 155. So the bookies are already telling you who has the real finishing ability here, and it's Chito Vera, the true 5-round fighter. Fifth round knockout is my prediction. Let's go. And new Chito Vera, make my day.
Yeah, Cheeto never been finished, man. You know, tough dude, very durable fighter. I think Sean can finish him, though. I honestly think he can finish him. We talk about rigged fights all the time. I don't know if you saw me looking this stuff up. Ecuador only has 18 million people in it. Spain, which they just broke into, has 47 million. So, what are you doing that? Literally over double.
So what? It don't matter. It's not a numbers game. It's a plant the flag kind of game.
I know, but no one gives a fuck about Ecuador. Can you even point Ecuador out on a map, Alex? Honestly, do you know where Ecuador is on a map? No one does. I'm not saying I do. I'm not trying to act. Alex or Jared, you're muted. You're muted.
I was saying I can put it out on a map. It is west, but a little north of Brazil.
Okay. You got me beat, and I will venture to say that you got Alex beat. No one knows where the fuck Ecuador is. I know it's in South America, but the thing is, man, from a business perspective, Alex and I are very much conspiracy heads. I don't know where you land on that whole spectrum, Jared, if you're, into conspiracies and whatnot. Sounds like not. If this fight was rigged, there's no business in a Cheeto Vera win here. There really isn't. Yeah, you can break into a country with 18 million people. Canada's got more people than that. 30 million people in Canada. My thing here with this is that there's a storyline that you can build if O'Malley wins. Cheeto's 1-1 with O'Malley. They can run this back and do the tiebreaker fight. There's just, from a business perspective, there's no reason why you don't want Sean O'Malley to win this. If we're going to say that these fights are rigged at the highest level like this, which I don't put that out of the realm of possibility. I think that they could say, hey, go in there, get this done. Just like the story that we heard about O'Malley versus Aljo, where it was a round 2 knockout, right? Who knows how legit that is? I believe you because I think that stuff goes on. But let's just say that it's fake, whatever. I mean, you can have any opinion that you want to about that. But for those that don't know, I forget who it was. Jared, was that you that told the story?
Yeah. So, yeah, I can actually, I'll just retell it real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
A close friend of ours that, when he was at the ceremonial weigh-ins or the press conference, either or, this kid's like, seeing, UFC fighters in the crowd and shit. And he's just like talking to him. He ended up bumping into Sean O'Malley's dad, and he had told O'Malley's dad that he thinks O'Malley's gonna knock out Aljo, and his dad's like, yeah, that's awesome. I think so too. So when it comes fight night in TD Garden, this kid fucking sees O'Malley's dad again. And he goes up to him and he's showing him his phone on DraftKings. And he's like, look, I just bet O'Malley by KO in round 1. The guy put his hand on his shoulder. O'Malley's dad put his hand on his shoulder and said, let's just say round 2, and walked away. This kid immediately bets O'Malley round 2, sends everyone the text. I didn't see the text until after the fight, although I was still on O'Malley by knockout. If I saw that round 2 at like plus 1,400 or plus 1,600, I would have hammered it. But regardless, O'Malley's dad said to this kid, let's just say round 2, walked away, and sure enough, O'Malley finds a KO in round 2. And it was a horrible stoppage. Not that I'm a big conspiracy guy, but I definitely believe in rigged fights. I know Dana White bought Aljo a fucking Lamborghini leading up to that fight. He took the dive. Clear as day, I think that fight was rigged.
I mean, you say you're not a conspiracy guy. That is the definition of a conspiracy right there, So,
well, when it comes to sports and shit, I'm sure I'm a conspiracy guy when it comes to sports because I know this shit's rigged.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to the Dangerous World Podcast store. You can get your sports are rigged t-shirts.
That shirt is so sick. The Toys R Us print with the sports are rigged. I fucking love it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I actually have one on the way, and it's I'm super excited to wear that. But I'll be wearing it next time we're here. I think absolutely at the highest level when there's money to be made, especially with a cash cow like Sean O'Malley, it's driven so many new young eyes to the sport. Now, a lot of these guys don't pay for pay-per-views because they don't live out of their mom's houses yet, and all this stuff, right? Like these guys don't make their own money. They're young kids that are obsessed with this dude because he looks like a hip hop artist, right? Looks like fucking Yellow Wolf or some shit. But yeah, man, give me O'Malley all day. I've got him by KO late. I think that he gets this done late. 3, 4, maybe later. But I'm very heavy on O'Malley. I think it's a no-brainer in my opinion. I respect the dog shots like that Alex has taken because it makes a lot of sense. But if you go back, you watch that fight, I don't even think that it was a perennial nerve kick that Cheeto did. I think that it was a kick that O'Malley landed that hurt his foot. When I watched the fight, that's what I saw. So I don't even think that Vera hurt him until he fell down to the ground and then fed him a couple elbows, and those were brutal. That was an early stoppage as well because they don't want to hurt their golden boy here. But yeah, the UFC wants this dude on top, man. They want O'Malley all day. So give me O'Malley, one of my more confident picks. And it is kind of stressful that Alex is so high on Vera because Alex has been hot. But, everyone misses every once in a while, so we'll see what happens here. Jared, where you at, man?
Well, I'm on O'Malley too, and I was feeling good about it up until I seen how confident Alex was and how confident Harry is. I know Harry is fucking dumping the balance on him, and it's like, you know, I know Harry has his betting strategy where it seems like he picks a guy and just rides him every time. If we're being real here, Vera shouldn't be getting a title shot right now. Realistically,
Right.
his last fight was a win over Pedro Munoz, which you can argue Pedro won that fight.
1,000%.
And
Yeah.
and he's, we can call a spade a spade. Cheeto doesn't deserve this title shot. The reason he's getting this title shot is because there's a storyline. And if you look at anyone in the top five O'Malley can sell against, you got a storyline here. This sells better than any other fight in the division.
Well,
I
and not to
mean,
interrupt you, Jared, but this is the fight that O'Malley wanted. He could have taken
right.
top the number one contender, number two, number three, number four. But this is the most winnable fight in his mind, in O'Malley's mind. If we're looking at this
Yes.
like a ones and zeros thing, O'Malley called for this. Why are
And
you
if we're gonna even go back to their first fight, O'Malley was doing great work up until that weird leg thing. I mean, he was winning that fight. He was chopping Cheeto's legs early and often. I mean, you know, it's just not that Vera's bad in any certain field, but he's not a specialist anywhere. You know, what he needs to do, if he's gonna win this fight, he needs to put O'Malley on the back foot. He needs to pressure him, and O'Malley's movement is so good. He needs to cut off the cage. He needs to keep him on the back foot and against the cage as often as possible because O'Malley's footwork and the way he moves around, the guy's a sniper, man. He's great striking. He's got the height and reach. He uses it accordingly. He knows how to manage his distance. But O'Malley, I mean, I honestly thought you were going to be with the general public of if this fight goes the distance, they're going to give it to O'Malley. I feel like the general consensus is this fight goes the distance. I think O'Malley finds a knockout here. Although Cheeto's never been finished, I think O'Malley finds a knockout. I'm going to call it round 3. And I bet it'll be a fucking horrible stoppage too. But we know for a fact Cheeto is going to drop the first 2 rounds. He always does. The guy's a slow starter. He's going to drop the first 2 rounds, and then in round 3 is when he starts taking more risk. You start taking risk against a guy like O'Malley, man. He's a sniper. He's probably going to catch you. So O'Malley KO round 3. That's the final big.
That's what O'Malley. That's
Hey, third dog in the main event's gonna have a third dog hit.
we'll see. I mean,
We'll
Streak
see,
right
man.
now.
We'll
Roy
see.
Val, Jarinzo. Now it's gonna be Vera. Let's go. Drop the bell.
the way
You
that
know how bad I wanted to bet on this fucking guy. I can't do it.
dude, the way that Jared said that too, where Vera starts taking more risks in round 3, and you don't want to take risks against a guy like O'Malley. That's how Aljamain lost that fight. Is that he took a risk in round 2? Now, was that rigged? Was it set up that way? I mean, who knows? Jared seems to think so. I could absolutely see that, But in theory, when you take risks against O'Malley, that's when you get sniped. Aljamain won that first round on all the judges' scorecards. So he could have just continued doing that boring ass style of fighting, but he took a risk. He charged
Took a
forward.
dive for the Lamborghini, like I said, and that's why I bet O'Malley. Max bet.
All right, but here's what I'm gonna say, Alex. I
It's
feel like
coming
Harry.
back, baby.
I feel like Harry got to you because when O'Malley fought Aljo, we were on the same page. O'Malley's gonna knock out Aljo, and then he's gonna get a Cheeto fight, and he's gonna knock him out too. We were all on the same page, and here we are
Oh
today.
no, we're gonna watch Sean O'Malley get knocked out. The script is getting flipped. I'm telling you guys.
All right,
All
man.
the
We'll see.
money, every public bettor is betting Sean O'Malley. That line's getting better and better and better. I told you guys all wait. Plus 150. Am I gonna bet Marlon Vera at plus 150? No, thank you. 225 is getting into the range now. But I already know that live bet snipe is coming. Everyone's gonna be smooth sailing after round 2. They're gonna be like, "Oh, Sean's up 2 rounds," and then boom, he's gonna start getting tired. I'm telling you guys, we got this in the bag.
How many people sounded like Alex when Conor McGregor fought Jose Aldo?
Right, and at that time, Jose Aldo. I mean, he was in the GOAT conversation
He's still I think he is the featherweight greatest of all time. It's either
for that division for sure. He's in the conversation. Yeah,
it's between him and obviously,
and Volkanovski, you got to give him a fair shake.
Yeah, I think it probably is Volkanovski to be fair because he went up and fought Islam Makhachev blood and guts. But yeah, man, sometimes the casual bettors are right, and with this whole fucking obsessive thing about casuals, you're a casual. I said this last week, I think, man. If you fucking casually like a sport, that's how you should like a sport. You mean you have a fucking life outside of a sport? What a fucking loser you are if you got a life outside the UFC, right? It's just nuts, man. So I think that, there's all kinds of ways we can chop this up. Obviously, Alex very passionate about Vera. I'm not I'm not willing to bet my mortgage on Sean O'Malley, but I'm very confident that he wins this. I think there's no I think that Cheeto Vera is very overrated personally. He's got 8 fucking losses. Some of them are not so good guys. So I think that when Vera gets this big step up in competition, he falls short. I like the guy. Seems much cooler to hang out with than fucking O'Malley. O'Malley seems like a douche, but I'm not betting with my heart here. I think Vera falls short, and this is a high profile matchup for him, man. Great fight. He's always going to be the first person to beat Sean O'Malley, and that's I think about as far as he gets with this. I don't think he ever holds a belt, personally. That's just me. We'll see what happens though. Good luck to both you guys. You know what I mean? We'll see if we can make some serious.
Oh, guys, red flag. There's a meme going around with Benoit saying he got staph on his forehead.
Oh, dude, honestly, like that looks like a fucking pimple. I know the picture you're talking about.
It looks big. That's a fat pimple if it was, bro.
I mean, and it is kind of weird if you're in your 30s and you have acne, but
I saw that in the
does
interviews.
look like staph, dude. It really does look like staph. That thing is massive.
I don't know, man. I looked at Tercios's chest and I'm like, that is staph. I looked at fucking Saint Denis' forehead and I'm like, that is a pimple. And it seems like one has gotten way more traction than the other, except one fight got canceled. Maybe that's more legs behind it.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It just feels like I don't know. MMA fans are the fucking worst. We love making big deals out of fucking nothing.
Well, yeah, you're looking for an edge, and it's a fist fight. I still firmly believe that Tercios Rosas fight got canceled because of Tercios, and they just wanted to make it seem like that wasn't the case. Because how the fuck did the UFC staff and the PI and all these people miss staff
Right.
like that? That people like us, casuals, could fucking see this. You know what I mean? So that is an interesting look there. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a hell of a fight card. I think it's gonna be very fun. We'll see what happens. We're all over the place on our picks here. We agree very early on, and then as the talent jumps up, we're kind of all over the place here. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Anything else that you guys want to plug before we get out of here?
I always got to leave you with the bets, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
So this week we got 2 whale bets and 1 steamer. So the first whale bet is going to be for 1FC on Friday. It's an all women's card. Most people would be turned off by that. I'm telling you, there's a lot of kickboxing and Muay Thai. They're going to be fucking some scraps. I got 2 locks on this card. We're going Fetchy, Look Jiao Perong Tom, and Alicia Rodriguez. I don't see either of these 2 girls losing. It's a main and the co-main, one for the kickboxing belt, one for the Muay Thai belt, both at atom weight. These girls are the real deal, man. I think it's their time. So I'm gonna have that whale bet, and hopefully I go into the UFC already up and I'm free rolling.
The odds there.
As far as a whale bet, so the odds on Alicia Rodriguez are minus 300, and there's no odds out on Fetchy yet, but they'll probably be. They're usually out Thursday, and but regardless, I'm putting those 2 together, and I don't care what the odds are. I'm betting it. If it's not plus odds, maybe I'll throw, Despain in there or something. But those 2 girls for sure, I don't see a world where they lose. They're so good, and one of them has a tough fight against Jackie Button, but I'm still these 2 girls. I don't see them losing. So that's a whale bet for 1FC. For the whale bet for UFC, our security blanket, our thing, if all parlays go to shit, we still end up in the profit. It's a 3-teamer at plus 105. Almabayev, Despaini, and over 2.5 in the Song Yadong fight. Those 3 gets you plus 105. It's kind of low hanging fruit, but the whale bet's supposed to be safe. So I'm okay with that. The 4-teamer steamer, we're taking Michelle Pereira, Gilbert Burns, Michael Page, and Sean O'Malley. That's plus 1,100. So we got a juicy 4-teamer steamer, but you got to hit the whale bets just to make sure if everything goes to shit, we're still on the profit.
On that second UFC bet, you had Almabayev, Despain, and then over in what fight?
Over 2.5 in Jan versus Song.
Okay. Cool. I like it. I like it. Alex, you got anything before we go?
For all my early listeners, if you're listening to this and it is before 2 p.m. Eastern on a Friday, you're going to have to bet this. Francis Ngannou is fighting Friday against Anthony Joshua, plus 350. Lock it in. That's a money pick.
You're
And I got another 2. Yeah, Ngannou's going to win on Friday. If you want to get greedy.
Dude, I forgot about that. I should add that with the one bet.
Yeah, let's go, baby. And I got another one. Asian fighter, heavyweight, who I like. His name's Zhilei Zhang. Similar to the UFC women's fighter, but this guy's a heavyweight male fighter. He's fighting Joseph Parker. Minus 230. Parlay him with Marcee Barber. You get plus 113. And lock it in.
Okay. Yeah, I disagree with the Francis thing. I think Joshua is more talented than fucking fat fucking Tyson, whatever the fuck.
Oh,
But
he's going to sleep.
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Wait, hold on. You think Anthony Joshua is a better boxer than Tyson Fury?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. I think Tyson Fury's overrated, man, in my opinion.
He's going
If
to
you
sleep.
smoke weed, I need to know where your dispensary's at.
Going bedtime.
No,
Anthony
man.
Johnson's gonna get tired, and he's not gonna be able to handle a punch.
Yeah, and the thing too with that is that Anthony Joshua knows how good Francis is at boxing now. Tyson Fury wasn't taking him serious. I know Tyson Fury's great, but dude, I mean, you're gonna sit here and tell me that boxing's not fucking rigged? Come on, these guys got the
Oh,
most.
it's the most rigged.
shallow-
That's why
most
he's gonna get a
rigged sport
knockout. You can't
there
fix
is.
that.
Yeah. What's that, Jared?
I was just saying, boxing is the most rigged sport there is, next to the NBA.
And the NFL. Yeah, NFL's pretty rigged too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I'm actually there's no fucking shot in hell that I fucking buy that pay-per-view with Francis and Joshua, but I'll look at the replays. I'm sure that Francis will look like he won and then he'll get robbed. I don't think either one of these guys get knocked out, but we'll see. We'll see. There's actually a bet that's plus 200 that Francis Ngannou does not get dropped. And I think that's a nice bet. Because I don't think that Ngannou gets dropped, and you can put $100 on that and get $200. So
You said that's minus 200?
plus 200.
plus 200.
Plus,
That Ngannou doesn't get dropped.
yeah, Francis Ngannou does not get dropped on
Oh
DraftKings.
my God, that sounds like a fucking gift.
Wait, where is that? I don't see that.
They really think he gets dropped? That's fucking crazy.
They think he gets knocked out, it sounds like.
What
Anthony,
are the money line?
I
What
mean,
are the
bet.
money
kind
line
of
odds
sleeping
on
on
this
Joshua a
fight?
little bit.
What are the money line odds on this fight?
I think
It's
plus
plus
3.
350.
Nagannou's plus 350.
Yes, lock it in.
Okay,
He's plus
yeah.
300 now. He was plus 500. That everyone's pounding him. What is it? Fight special?
Yeah.
Now if I'm not mistaken, this fight is in Saudi or Qatar, right?
It's in the Middle East, yeah. I think it's in Abu Dhabi.
So Ngannou has been doing his entire training camp in Saudi instead of Extreme Couture. Um, Mike Tyson opened a gym there, and he has been training directly under Tyson this whole camp out of Saudi.
Francis to get knocked down. No, plus 185. I have to
That's
bet.
fucking.
I have
Yeah.
to bet that.
I don't. I'm not good enough to not bet that.
Like, I want to drop the
welcome.
balance. That should be like minus 300.
No shit, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, he's got a strong.
Francis Ngannou not to get knocked down. Give me that.
Yeah, like I said, I still think that Joshua wins this, but I don't think that he knocks down Ngannou. But yeah, people are sleeping on Joshua, dude. Joshua is, I think he's better than fucking. I think he's better than Tyson. But everyone likes Tyson because he looks like everyone's favorite fucking fat alcoholic friend or whatever. But I think that A, he didn't take Ngannou serious, and B, he's not all that he's cracked up to be. Personally, look at his shitty brother. His brother couldn't fucking barely beat Jake Paul. So I
I
don't
think
know.
that's his nephew. But either way, it doesn't matter.
It's his brother. Tyson.
Tommy Fury?
Yeah, Tommy and Tyson are brothers.
Oh, I could have swore that was. Who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah, I mean it's all fake anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all rigged anyways.
Yeah, man. I think that Ngannou's going out there and just collecting checks, man, and good for him. I think it'd be hilarious if he got fucking slept by this fucking PFL heavyweight, but I do not see that happening. But yeah, good luck. And like Alex was saying, drop the balance on that Ngannou not to get dropped piece. I think that's a nice little plus money bet there. That'll be what I leave you with. But yeah, guys, enjoy UFC 299. I'm gonna be making some pulled pork. We're gonna do Cuban sandwiches over here for the Miami card. That's what we're having. So
I
should
like it.
be fun.
Hoping Jared whips up some Chipotle for the boys.
Yo, you like that homemade Chipotle, right? That
Yeah,
shit fucking smacks, dude.
boy.
Oh, dude, you have to cook. You have to cook during these things, man. It's necessary.
Well, dude, we're watching at my house, so if anyone's cooking, it's fucking me.
It's fun, dude. Yeah, I know you like drinking beers. Fucking
I'll
have
bring
some beer.
ingredients next time. I don't care.
I don't drink during the fights. I don't drink and gamble. That's one of our commandments. Alex knows.
Well, what if you put all your bets in before the card so you can drink?
All right, then you can't bet live.
Yeah, but see, that's the danger of having DraftKings on your phone, because then you're drunk and you start having these irrational thoughts, and then you just start punting left and right.
Oh man, you guys got to have more fun. You guys got to have more fun. But it's all good. You guys got your system. I got mine. I'm going to be eating food and I will be drunk during UFC 299. We'll see how it goes. But good luck to everybody betting. Hope you enjoyed the show. Every single UFC event, we'll be doing these kinds of shows. And then, we want to try and get more sports involved, especially combat sports. So good luck, guys. And we'll see you next week.